And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mile High Stadium. Once again, they're expecting a packed house as the Broncos get set to bang heads with the Dallas Cowboys. With Dave Logan, I'm Tony Zarella. The final time the Broncos will ever play a preseason game here on the Mile High turf. And Dave, this being the third out of the four, you would say that if a preseason game is important, this would be the one.
No question about it. I think both coaches want to get their starters work well into the second half. And I think from a player's perspective, you go into the season knowing that the second to the last preseason game, if you're a starter, you're going to get some big-time playing action. So that's good news for us and hopefully good news for the viewers.
Well, speaking of news, and I don't know if this wasn't good news, but Bill Romanowski in the news throughout the week. How much of a distraction do you think this has been in the locker room, and will it be as they head into the regular season?
You know, Tony, that's a good question, and one that, frankly, I don't have the answer to. I think it remains to be seen exactly how this thing plays itself out. But from a player's perspective, what you want to know in the locker room is that, A, you trust your teammates, they come to work every day, they perform, and when the game time comes, they're out there giving it their all. Now, from that perspective, I don't think Bill Romanowski has a problem. But some players, as you know, are going to kind of take a wait-and-see approach in this whole ordeal.
And see how this plays out. You mentioned the starters. Terrell Davis, we're going to see a lot of him tonight. He will play at least the first half, maybe into the third. But we're also going to see a lot of Olandis Gary, who'll come in and spell Terrell.
And I think this is good news for Terrell. He may not think so, because Terrell, I think, would like to take every snap and take every handoff. That's the kind of competitor he is. But I think in the regular season, Terrell Davis is going to get 20 to 21, 22 carries, and Olandis Gary will get 12 to 15 carries if everything goes for a perfect game plan. And that will keep Terrell fresh. It certainly will prevent him from, when he's tired, pushing that knee injury a little bit too far.
Another guy we're going to see tonight for the first time, Robert Brooks. Now, you're a former receiver. This guy's been out of football for a year. Can he come back and be the same guy he was when he was with the Packers?
Well, if he can, Denver has a great pickup. Robert Brooks is a big-time player, or at least was with Green Bay. As you mentioned, he's been out of the league for a year, but he had over 100 catches 1 year in Green Bay. You don't do that in this league unless you are a superb receiver. And Brooks, if healthy, I think can really add a lot to this Bronco offense.
Now let's talk about the Cowboys. You know, they got one thing in common with the Broncos. They, too, want to get back to the glory years. I mean, just a couple of years ago for the Cowboys. And it starts with changes at the top. Chan Gailey's gone. That didn't work out too well. And Dave Campos here. He's never been a head coach at any level.
Changes at the top. Not a big surprise with Jerry Jones as the owner, I guess. But Dave Campos has been in the organization for the last 5 years as a defensive coordinator. He is an excellent defensive-oriented coach and a guy that already has the respect of his players.
And he brought in Jack Riley, or brought back Jack Riley, who's the coordinator, and then they went out and got this guy, Joey Galloway, so they're going to try to stretch the field out. They're still trying to replace Michael Irvin, and this guy's fabulous.
They also have to stretch the pocketbook a bit, too. $42 million for Joey Galloway. Also, 2 number ones.
Is that all?
The Cowboys send to the Seattle Seahawks. So Joey Galloway is an excellent receiver.
You know, one of the consistent things for the Cowboys, Troy Aikman, still pretty accurate, and if they can give him some time, this guy can still play.
Well, they've made the changes at the top, I think, so Troy Aikman will have a chance to kind of shoulder the load. Here's a guy that's taken his team to 3 Super Bowls, only 1 of 3 quarterbacks to do that, and he can still throw the ball deep at his age.
Well, Troy's going to play tonight. Emmitt Smith will not. He didn't even make the trip. He's banged up, bad calf. He's not the only one. The Cowboys come in a little battered and bruised and winless in the preseason, so this a big game for them as well. The Broncos and the Cowboys for the 6th time in 7 years in the preseason, and 9 News has the kickoff when we come back.
Tonight's telecast is brought to you by Coors Light, naturally brewed. Reach for the silver bullet, the pure taste of the Rockies. By First Bank, the Colorado bank for you. And by General Motors.
Markdown Madness. It's your Mercury dealer's year-end event. Get an additional $500 off your best deal. That's $500 in addition to low 0.9% APR financing on the sophisticated new 2000 Sable. With all these features, there's never been anything like it. But hurry, time's running out at Mercury's Markdown Madness.
Half-price jean sale at Big Kmart. Now, if you can't buy gas, it's not because you don't have the money. The buy one, get one half-price jean sale ends soon. Get to Big Kmart today.
And welcome back, everybody. Tony Zarella, Dave Logan, as the Broncos and Cowboys get set to kick it off. A gorgeous night, and they're playing it at night, which is special for us because they played here last week, and it was, it felt like it was close to 100 down there on the field. Right now, 86 degrees, and a beautiful night. And Dave, a special moment before the game, about 5 minutes ago, as Steve Atwater came out, and he was emotional yesterday. Looked a little emotional out there tonight as well.
Yeah, it has to be. Obviously, Atwater's been just a great player for this franchise, and nice to see him be able to come back, retire officially as a Denver Bronco.
We're going to hear from Steve coming up a little bit later on in the game. You think he's a Ring of Famer down the road?
Oh, no question. Not even questionable. He'll be up on the well, I guess it'll be the new stadium where Steve Atwater will find his name.
And of course, next year, Carl Mecklenburg and Dennis Smith both go in as they open up the new stadium. Decided to wait a year, and they will be the only two going in to the Ring of Fame next season. But Steve Atwater will be joining us in the booth in just a few minutes. Of course, with the call, once again, the voice of the Broncos, Dave Logan.
Tony, thank you. Preseason game number 3 here at Mile High Stadium. Next week, of course, they'll wrap things up in San Francisco, will the Broncos. Darren Hall and Michael Black await the kick of Jason Elam. Now, we are underway here in Denver. It is a deep kick, and it will be brought out by Darren Hall. Hall, the former CSUer, fumbled, and the Broncos have got the first turnover of the game at the Dallas 22-yard line.
And you know why Mike Shanahan always talks about special teams? I thought that was Cargill that nailed him. And the Broncos, we saw this last week with Pinoy Kennedy in the second half against the Packers, have been flying on kickoffs and punts, and this is one way to win over the heart of your head coach. Ouch.
Well, I tell you, terrific shot there. As you said, George Coghill with the tackle. And the recovery by Jason Moore, and the Denver offense will start on a short field. Darren Hall, the former CSU Ram, trying to make this football team as a free agent. So we played 11 seconds. We've got our first turnover, and Brian Greasy is at quarterback for the Broncos. Handoff, left side, Davis. Terrell squares and gets inside the 20-yard line before being knocked down by Alonzo Spellman.
And even on a 4-yard gain, I mean, this guy does this so much better than almost anybody else in the league. His patience is tremendous, and when Terrell can just step back and wait for the offensive line to create a hole, he can turn a 2-yarder into a 4-yarder, and that's what makes Terrell so special.
Take a look at the Broncos starting offensive lineup. Friedman, Neal, Jones, Nalen, and Lepsis up front. Second down, 2nd and 6 from the 19. Greasy turns, hands off, TD again. Davis spinning his way to a Bronco first down. Knocked down there by Dat Nguyen. Take a look at the defensive lineup for the Cowboys. Ecubon Spellman, former Air Force standout Chad Hennings, and Pepe Zellner, who replaces Greg Ellis at defensive end. Hambrick, Nguyen, and Coakley, the Pro Bowler, the linebackers. Larimore, they like him. Their 4th-round draft choice this year. McNeil, they got from Cleveland in the offseason, and 2 solid safeties in Woodson and Teague.
Well, Ryan McNeil is a guy they like, and they're going to have to like, because he's really the guy that's stepping in and replacing Deion Sanders.
I called that a first down initially, but Dick Hantak thought it was close enough to bring the crew out. It is a first down.
You mentioned Kareem Larimore. You know, he's a young guy, and he's going to have to step up, because I think McNeil is pretty well respected around the NFL, and Larimore may be the guy coming out of a small school, West Texas A&M, and being young, that teams will test.
They do like him so far. Broncos have a 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 13. We played a minute and a half. Greasy, the Davis right side. Pretty well played there by the Cowboys. Darren Woodson, a 220-pound safety, up to make the tackle. Woodson, a 2nd-round draft choice back in '92, and a guy that really gives the Cowboys that anchor that they need in the secondary.
Yeah, he's been to 5 Pro Bowls. He can play. You know, we talked about Terrell at the top of the show. Olandis is going to come in occasionally in the first half to spell him. Terrell was talking to me after the game last week and saying, you know, I had 3 or 4 carries on that drive, and believe it or not, I'm pretty winded, so it's going to take him a while. 2nd and 8 from the 11. Broncos now with an empty backfield. Greasy. End zone. Too far for Byron Chamberlain. That's a formation, Tony, that Mike Shanahan talked a little bit about yesterday to us, and
It's the first time the Broncos have shown this with 2 tight ends and then getting into the empty backfield.
What they want to do is force the Cowboys to get rid of one of their defensive backs, bring in another linebacker, and they feel it's a mismatch with those receivers then.
Absolutely. Smith and McGriff back in the game now, as Denver will have to probably throw the ball here, 3rd and 8. McGriff and Smith right. McCaffrey split left by himself. Carswell, the tight end, is left. Greasy to throw. Dumps it. Terrell is wide open. Davis is going to be inside the 1. He will have a 1st and goal hit by Chad Hennings. But Brian Greasy showing nice ability here to improvise and just dumps the ball to Terrell Davis.
That's a smart play by Greasy, and this is one of the things he's been doing so well in the preseason. Patience, and just take what they give you. His receivers are covered in the end zone, so take what they give you, get down to the 1-yard line, keep the drive alive.
George Teague there as well. So the drive will continue following the opening kickoff fumble by Darren Hall. 1st and goal Denver at the Cowboy 1. Play fake. Greasy stops, throws, touchdown McCaffrey. And we've got a penalty flag thrown in the back of the end zone. And this will come back.
Saying they think McCaffrey pushed off. He is just having a spectacular camp, Dave, and everybody in Denver obviously knows what Eddie McCaffrey can do. But Mike Shanahan telling us a couple of weeks ago, this might be his best camp ever.
Interference. Offense number 87. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 1st down.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you're going to have a touchdown called back for an interference penalty, you just assume it'd be against you. And in this case, McCaffrey's touchdown catch is wiped out. Better to be you than one of your receiving mates who you look at and say, hey.
No question.
Come on, man. So it's 1st and goal now from the 11. Gary replaces Davis in the backfield and takes the handoff. Big hole. Dexter Coakley, the Pro Bowl linebacker, the first for the Cowboys to greet Gary. Olandis Gary coming off a nice game last week here against the Packers. He carried 22 times for 94 yards and 1 score.
You know, we had Gary on the huddle last week, and he's one of these guys. He talks about what he learns from Terrell Davis, and most of it is by example. And this is the kind of thing we're going to see. Gary shuttling in and out, occasionally not Terrell back in the ballgame.
The gain of 6 on that 1st and goal carry. 2nd and 5, or 2nd and goal from the 5. Davis to the goal line. Touchdown, Denver. You get a little taste of what I'm sure Mike Shanahan, Tony, will hope he'll see a lot of in the regular season. A nice change of pace. One play, Gary in between the tackles. The next play, here comes Terrell Davis.
Yeah, Terrell comes back in, feeling a little bit fresher. Nice hesitation there. And I'll tell you what, if you can run on the Dallas Cowboys and keep them off balance like that, you can run on anybody, because their guys up front are among the best in the business.
I'll tell you what, that play reminded me of the old Terrell Davis.
I'll tell you this, too. I think the head coach is a little more satisfied than he was a week ago when they kept getting down to the red zone and couldn't punch it in. Nice way to finish that off.
Jason Elam's extra point try is good, and with 11:25 to go here in the first quarter, Broncos lead the Cowboys 7-0. Okay, here's the game plan. First, we give them free check-us-out checking, and that includes
free checking for a year
with no minimum balance and no monthly service charges.
What else?
A Visa debit card with no annual fee.
For how long?
For a whole year.
And we make it easy, right?
Right. We have over 90 First Bank locations.
Free access to all First Teller ATMs. 24-hour telephone banking. Internet banking.
We're locally owned.
We give you that.
We at GMC are proud to sponsor the U.S. Olympic athletes who, like us, have worked to achieve higher standards. And now, during our GMC U.S. Olympic Countdown, get up to $2,000 cash back on select 2000 Sierra Extended cabs, up to $2,000 cash back on a truck with the most standard V8 horsepower and best V8 fuel economy in its class. A truck built with the dedication that makes it professional grade. Because when you're committed to what you do, it shows in the results. Visit your local GMC dealer for the GMC U.S. Olympic Countdown.
Frost brewed Coors Light. Nice choice.
Thanks.
Nothing like some ice cold Rocky Mountain perfection to wet your whistle.
Yeah, you sure know a lot about beer. Come here often?
I haven't missed a game yet.
Really? Whoa. Could this get any better? Wow.
You're spilling your beer.
She's a beer man.
Your beer.
Whoa.
Back in Denver, Broncos enjoying a 7-0 lead early in the first quarter. Dave Logan, Tony Zarella, Drew Soysher with you. Preseason game number 3. Michael Black and Darren Hall back once again for the Cowboys. The opening kickoff saw Darren Black, the former CSU standout, bring it out. And it cracked by George Coghill, fumbled the football, and the Broncos started the drive at the 23. Elam again will kick it away, and this is Hall once again. And again, the ball is free. And again, the Broncos have the football. This time, George Coghill recovers the ball. Last time, he knocked the ball free.
I got to tell you, Dave Campa, one of the things he did coming in as a new head coach for the Cowboys was stress accountability. Let's try to be mistake-free. Well, 2 for 2 now here, just a few minutes in.
So the Broncos start their second drive at the Cowboy 34.
Years before America's electric cooperatives forged the nationwide alliance, Touchstone Energy, neighbors built their own electric utility to power lives and communities. Now Touchstone Energy cooperatives serve millions of homes and businesses. Customers large and small get state-of-the-art technology and affordable service. From the one-room schoolhouse to the communities and businesses of tomorrow, trust Touchstone Energy, the power of human connections.
United Power, your Touchstone Energy partner.
New 240 horsepower Nissan Pathfinder.
Hi, I'm the chairman and CEO of Quest Communications. In the last 3 years, we've become one of the fastest growing broadband internet companies in the world. We did it by delivering value and innovation to our customers. Now we've acquired US West, which means that when it comes to communications, you'll be dealing with a company that knows what you expect and is committed to delivering it.
US West is now Quest.
Boy, Darren Hall, first couple of kickoff returns, trying to make this football team, and obviously not holding on to the football, not a good way to do it.
No, and everybody here in Colorado knows him from his days with the CSU Rams. And, you know, you get nailed on the first one by Coghill, but this one just slips out of his hands. And this time Coghill recovers, and the Broncos 2 for 2 here on the first 2 kickoffs.
So Denver starts this drive on the Cowboy 34. And Greasy will throw. Deep ball. He's got McCaffrey. McCaffrey's side of the end zone is ruled out of bounds, incomplete. McCaffrey had beaten the rookie Kareem Larimore on the go route, and the ball just a little bit too far outside.
Eddie had about 4 steps on him. Larimore, the young kid, and you know, I mentioned this earlier, he's the guy you really go after with Ryan McNeil on the other side. A lot of teams. You remember a few years ago in Seattle, McCaffrey just took Sean Springs to school, and Springs is a tremendous player. You see Eddie had about 3 or 4 steps on him and just a little too much.
Incomplete, second and 10.
Stay stationary.
Greasy sends Davis in motion. Hands in the draw to Griffith. And Howard Griffith doesn't get a lot of opportunities to carry the football. Goes for about 5 there. Tackle on the play first by Dat Wynn. Dat Wynn, an interesting player at middle linebacker. Wynn in his second year at Texas A&M. And a guy that the Cowboys like because of his quickness. He averaged 11 tackles per game through his career at Texas A&M.
Yeah, he was a fabulous college player. He replaces Randall Godfrey, who left for the Titans and was their leading tackle, so he has to step up.
3rd and 5 from the 29. The Broncos empty again. Quick throw right side. Carswell has it, and this will depend on the spot. hit immediately by Dexter Coakley.
And maybe about a yard short, but nice getting slapped there as he was trying to pull it in, and nice reception. Remember last week he didn't catch the ball he had a shot at in the end zone, and this one is a nice catch.
Dwayne Carswell in his 7th year out of Liberty. Having a solid camp, dropped a touchdown pass last week against the Packers, but figures to get a lot more opportunity. Mike Shanahan says no to Jason Elam, and the Broncos will go on a 4th and short. Griffith and Davis behind Greasy. Davis has the first down. George Teague met him at the line of scrimmage, but Terrell Davis with a nice job of keeping those legs churning, and Denver with another first down.
And now we see Olandis Gary again, and we're going to see a lot of Olandis tonight too as he spells Terrell. We'll see Gary into the second half and maybe John Avery down the stretch, but nice job by the offensive line. This Cowboys defensive front, as I mentioned, one of the best in the business, and getting a yard isn't always easy against these guys. They're loaded up front, so that's a nice job.
Clock runs with 9:15 to go here in the first quarter. The Broncos with their 4th first down. 1st and 10 from the 23. And Greasy will throw again.
He's going to McCaffrey wide open.
Bryan, feeling pressure, just threw the ball out of bounds. The pressure by Dexter Coakley. Greasy with a nice spin move there and just threw the football away. 2nd and 10.
Into the end zone, Dave. McCaffrey working on Larimore again, and I referred to what he did a few years ago to Sean Springs, who's turned out to be a pretty good defensive back. When you first come into this league, especially at that position, you can be taken to school, and this guy is one of the guys that can do it to you.
The incomplete pass stops the clock with 9:02 to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Greasy checks at the line. Fires quickly to the left side. That's Travis McGriff with the catch. Hit immediately by Ryan McNeil. McGriff, and we've talked about him a lot this training camp, has really established himself as a guy that Mike Shanahan and staff like as a 3rd receiver. Now, it remains to be seen what Robert Brooks and company can do, but for the time being, they are very pleased with Travis McGriff.
And I know we're only 3 games in, but 3 games in, I think a lot of people are still wondering. I think they expected Andre Reed to step up and do a little bit more, and now we'll see with Brooks as he comes in, and he'll play in the second half.
3rd and 4 from the 17. McGriff split to the left by himself. That's Carswell in motion. Greasy tries to dump one over the middle to Carswell, incomplete. Nice coverage on the play by the Cowboys, and Greasy can't fit it into Dwayne Carswell, so Jason Elam will get an attempt on this drive. Elam, who was 4 for 4 last week here in the win against the Packers. We'll see Tom Ruin spot this at the 25. It's an attempt of 35 yards. And it is good. So Denver converts on 2 Dallas turnovers in the game's first 7 minutes. And with 8:17 to go here in the first quarter, the Broncos have a 10-0 lead over the Cowboys.
Attention car buyers, this Wednesday through Saturday, Rocky's Autos will match your down payment up to $1,000 on over 700 red tag cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs.
You do the math. If you have 500 down, we'll add another 500, and that'll give you 1,000. And if you have 1,000 down, we'll add 1,000.
Everybody saves because we'll match your down payment up to $1,000 on any vehicle.
The matching down sale is this Wednesday through Saturday only at Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal.
Briefcase.
Need new tires? Our 70,000-mile Futuras are 4 for $169. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Hey, Tim. Does this look like a hex nut to you?
Need expert advice? All-wheel alignment now just $34.88. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
I'm a child care director. In the summer, I drive buses and vans. We have a blast on these field trips. It's just as much fun for me as it is for them. parents are entrusting me with the safety of their children. We have to make sure we keep great tires on the van. We trust Walmart to service our vehicle. They have name brand tires and they have great prices, and they're guaranteed nationwide. That's one reason we bought them.
Brand name tires, oil changes, and more at Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
Because it's pretty precious cargo.
We're going to quickly send it down to the sideline of Drew Soysher. Drew?
Tonight marks the 76th and final preseason home game in Mile High Stadium history. The Broncos have won 51 of those games, including the last 7. Back upstairs for you guys.
Thanks, Drew. You know, home field dominance is something the Broncos, as any fan will tell you, have been used to over the years, but last year it didn't happen. This year, that's one of the goals, to get it back. And you look at the schedule, I think it's a no-brainer. They're going to have it back. I'll be seeing a little of it tonight.
Nice kickoff by Jason Elam. By the way, Darren Hall, who had fumbled the previous 2 kickoff returns, was not back as a kick returner. Michael Wiley and Michael Black for the Cowboys. Didn't matter, as Dallas offense now will have their first opportunity, 1st and 10 from the 20. Taking a look at Dave Campo working the officials a bit, and that's Troy Aikman.
Now, and you look at a guy like Campo, who was an assistant for so long. Can a guy that's buddy-buddy with the players make the transition to a head coach and kind of separate himself, Dave?
Well, I don't know that he's necessarily buddy-buddy, but I think he's a guy that has the respect of his players because he's actually worked with these players before. 1st and 10, Dallas at the 20. First time the offense has had the opportunity to get in the field. Jackie Harris, the tight end, in motion. This is Chris Warren, the former Seahawk, who turns left in and is ushered out of bounds by Terrell Buckley. Take a look at the Cowboy offense. It'll be Chris Warren for Emmitt Smith tonight, but first Troy Aikman. In his 12th year, Aikman, as I mentioned, has taken the Cowboys to 3 Super Bowls. Warren and Neufeld in the backfield. McGarity replaces Raghib Ismail. Jackie Harris acquired in the offseason. Joey Galloway, of course, the same from Seattle. Allen and Diaz from Tampa Bay this year. Adam Stepnoski back last year and really solidifies the offensive line. And Solomon Page, the starter. 2nd and 1 after the 9-yard run. And this will be Warren again. And Chris Warren bulldogged down by Glenn Cadrez, but it should be enough for a Cowboy first down. Broncos defensively tonight line up like this: Tonavasa, Traylor, Price, and Pittman. Pittman, of course, a 2nd-round draft choice of the Cowboys some 4 years ago. The linebackers, who have played very, very well: Cadrez in his first playing time of the preseason, Wilson and Romanowski. Crockett, with that bad hamstring, is in the starting lineup. Jenkins and Brown, the safeties, and Buckley replaces Spencer as a starter. 1st and 10 from the 31. Toss. This is Chris Warren again. Sneaks the football out past the 35 before Glenn Cadrez is there for the Broncos.
Nice to see Cadrez back out there. I think a lot of people wondering if John Mobley's going to be back out there anytime soon. When he first went down and had to go in and clean up his knee again, they said 3 weeks. And now it might be more than 3 weeks, and I think people wondering if he'll be back for opening day.
Flozell Adams shaken up a bit for the Cowboys. 2nd-round draft choice back in '98, playing tackle out of Michigan State. Cowboys, of course, with Eric Williams, who plays right tackle, just coming to camp this past week, can ill afford to lose Flozell Adams. They have been really nicked up on the offensive line.
Yeah, they've been nicked up throughout the entire roster. About 20 guys did not make the trip, including Emmitt Smith, of course, and the fullback Robert Thomas. So the Cowboys, winless in the preseason, can't afford to lose another guy. And you see, was that Price that stepped on him? He went down right away on the play.
Well, Flozell Adams up and walking rather slowly. We'll try to get an update as to his condition when we return to Mile High Stadium. Broncos enjoying a 10-0 lead with 6:49 to go in the first quarter.
Your company's IPO is the most successful in history.
I'm not surprised.
And investors appear very confident.
Of course they are, Linda.
So, do you have a satellite dish or AT&T digital cable?
A dish.
Really? Then you can't even get local channels unless you pay more.
Really?
Digital cable gives you lots more channels than before. Right through the cable that you already have. Do you care to comment? Mr. Vickers?
AT&T digital cable. It's smarter.
beer man. One for the groom-to-be.
Bachelor party, eh? Well, this is Frost Brewed Coors Light. Are you ready for that kind of commitment?
Yeah?
Please rise. Stand up. Do you take this can to be your very own? Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish every ounce of this Rocky Mountain refreshment?
I do. Told myself I wasn't going to cry.
If anyone here has reason why these two should not be joined together, speak now.
Beer man.
Oh, there you go.
And welcome back to Mile High. Tony Zarella, Dave Logan. A reminder, you can catch us every Monday night from Jackson's All-American Sports Grill. This time down in the Tech Centers. We move south a little bit, but still Mondays at 6:30 with Mike Shanahan, the Broncos Huddle, Monday nights.
Tony Hudson in the game replaces Flozell Adams. Cowboys have a 2nd and 6 from the 35. First drive of the night for the Cowboys, who fumbled the 2 opening kickoffs. Play fake, Aikman has a receiver wide open, and that is Jackie Harris. Al Wilson and Glenn Cadrez for the Broncos. They got Harris in the offseason, a very good receiving tight end. Here's a guy in his 10-year career with 339 catches for well over 3,800 yards. He's a guy that can get open and actually catch the football.
He's a big target. He's 6'4", 250, but he's a lot bigger than Shannon Sharp, but they kind of compare him to Sharp in the sense that he's a lot faster than you think, and he's got great hands. So when they want to throw, they're going to throw to him. When they want somebody to block, it's probably going to be David LaFleur.
And LaFleur, of course, hurt tonight. Cowboys didn't want to get Harris that many snaps, 25 per game in the preseason. He may get more tonight. Handoff right side. Chris Warren bouncing off Broncos as he gets into Bronco territory. Ma'a Tanavasa had a shot, could not bring him down.
You know, the last couple of weeks, as we've seen, the Broncos have come out a little slow with the first-team defense. It didn't take the Packers long to get down the field on them, and we know the Cardinals did. So the fact that they're getting pushed off the ball a little bit and they're getting 7-8 yards a clip on these runs isn't going to make Mike Shanahan too happy. They got to find a way to stop this quickly.
Of course, we talked about Chris Warren, 227 pounds in his 11th year. He's been over 1,000 yards 4 times in his career, 1,545 yards back in 1994. So it's not like he's a guy just hanging on trying to make the team.
Well, you know, he's on a team with Emmitt Smith, so he's not going to be their starting running back. But on most teams in the league, or, you know, at least half of the teams, you'd think there'd be a spot for him to start.
Troy Aikman takes a timeout, walks over, gets a cup of water, and talks to Dave Campbell about what will be called next. We'll find out when we return to Mile High Stadium. Broncos up by 10.
MSN Internet access.
How about some sort of sport thing? What about
16:9 digital TV.
Going on?
And a digital camcorder for catching all those first steps. Turn on the fun, Best Buy.
That's my boy.
Years before America's electric cooperatives forged the nationwide alliance, Touchstone Energy, neighbors built their own electric utility to power lives and communities. Now Touchstone Energy cooperatives serve millions of homes and businesses. Customers large and small get state-of-the-art technology and affordable service. From the one-room schoolhouse to the communities and businesses of tomorrow, trust Touchstone Energy, the power of human connections. We are your local consumer-owned electric cooperative.
Back at Mile High Stadium, Dave Logan, Tony Zarella, Drew Soysher with you as the Broncos capitalize on a couple of Cowboy kickoff miscues and have a 10-0 lead. Chris Warren thus far on this drive, 4 carries for 24 yards. Jackie Harris has caught a ball for 8. And the Cowboys, the only time they've had the football, have 32 yards of total offense. 2nd and 2 from the Bronco 47. Aikman with a play fake. Wide open. In the flat is Ryan Neufeld. Neufeld in his second year out of UCLA, made this football team last year as a special teamer and a fullback. And with a couple of injuries, namely to Robert Thomas, the starter, Neufeld is forced into action. Was a tight end some in college, Tony, so you know he's got good hands.
He's played a little bit of everything. He's also a linebacker when he first went into UCLA. You know, you think about the Cowboys offense when they were good, it was also still fairly simple, and that's what they want to get back to, keeping it easy.
Cowboys now on the move. 1st and 10 from the Denver 36. Aikman overthrows Joey Galloway. I'll tell you, Terrell Buckley guessed right on that one, and had Troy Aikman not given that ball a little air, I think T. Buck would have been down the sideline.
This is an interesting battle. You know, Terrell Buckley, Jimmy Spencer, and this was predetermined, by the way. Do not read into the fact that Buckley's starting this game tonight. Mike Shanahan had told them before the preseason schedule started that when they get to this point, Buckley will get the start because he would know the system better. But, you know, it's an interesting battle as they get a couple of weeks left to figure this out. It's probably going to be Spencer, but you never know. That could change.
Wow. 2nd and 10 from the 36. Aikman with time has got Harris. Harris with a couple of moves lunges to about the 27-yard line. Hit there by Eric Brown and Al Wilson. Jackie Harris, I think, is really going to help this Cowboy offense.
Well, you know, I think the feeling down in Dallas is that LaFleur hasn't panned out to be the guy they expected. I think when you know, they'll put him in there as the starter to run the football, but again, when they want to throw, I think they're going to go to that guy.
Cowboys go to 3 wides on 3rd and 2. Harris in motion. Chris Warren's got the 1st down and more. Warren forced out of bounds by Eric Brown just shy of the 20-yard line, showing you his speed for a big back.
You and I were talking, you say big back. He's a lot bigger than people think he is. And, you know, they're running the football 4 or 5 yards a clip. The Broncos obviously have to find a way to shut this down. There's nobody on that side until Eric Brown gets to him and shoves him out of bounds. But, yeah, Chris Warren's a quality back.
Most of his years in Seattle, but Chris Warren, with 1,717 career carries, has averaged 4.3 yards per carry for his career. Well, he is a very good replacement for Emmitt Smith. 1st down, Cowboys at the 20. Penalty flag's thrown as Warren takes the handoff and is collared after a gain of about 1.
Wondering if Ma jumped. Looked like somebody jumped up front.
Well, Dick Hantak's going to tell you. You could be right. Hantak, veteran NFL referee.
Offside, defensive, right tackle, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 1st down.
Could make you guess a bit. Well, that man will see it tomorrow in film, so. Right tackle, probably Keith Traylor based on that set. 1st and 5 from the 15. And Michael Wiley, the 5th-round draft choice out of Ohio State, now replaces Chris Warren at tailback. He'll take the toss. And get blasted at the 16 by Billy Jenkins. Penalty flags thrown on the play. Jenkins comes to Denver from St. Louis, Tony, as a big hitter, and this is a pretty good reason as to why.
Yeah, this guy can hit, and he makes a great adjustment on this play, very quickly filling the hole, and very quickly knocking Wiley back about 2 yards.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, I mean, they got a few guys that could be big play guys on this defense.
Hantak will sort out the penalty for us.
Illegal use of the hands. Offense number 77, hands to the face. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 1st down.
So they get Solomon Page. I don't think Dave Campbell liked that call. But it will move the football back to, I believe, the 25.
Well, I'll tell you what else Dave Campbell doesn't like. The Cowboys were the most penalized team in football last year. And again, we were talking about mistake-free football. One of the things he's trying to stress to these guys is let's get back to being accountable for this and knock off the mistakes, because they keep killing themselves and could, you know, now they're going to push themselves back a little bit on this one and stall the drive a little.
Ball about a length outside the Denver 25-yard line. It is 1st and 15 now for Dallas. Aikman with Harris in motion. Broncos in a blitz. Harris has got the quick dump. Runs out of the tackle by Al Wilson, and Jackie Harris with a 1st and goal for Dallas. Buckley and Jenkins have to scurry over to make the play, but there's Troy Aikman at his best. The veteran quarterback sees the blitz, dumps the ball to the right man, and Jackie Harris with a good move.
Yeah, no hesitation on the part of Troy, but, you know, Jackie Harris was such a big part of the Tennessee Titans offense last year, had a big role in the Super Bowl, and just, you see his athleticism right there for a guy that's 250 pounds. He's not easy to bring down, but again, he's quicker than you think he is.
Couple of 50-catch seasons in his career, both with Tampa Bay. 1st and goal from the 7. Dallas trying to get on the board. Aikman, quick throw right side, behind the intended receiver, incomplete. He wanted Galloway on the slant. Romanowski with good pressure on Aikman, and you can see Aikman right here talking to one of his receivers about the route. Actually talking to Michael Wiley maybe about the blitz pickup. Dave Campos said he thought he had it easier coming in as the head coach than did Chan Gailey because he had been here. Campo had been with these players for 5 years. They knew him. He didn't have to sell them on his ability. 2nd and 7 now. 2nd and goal, I should say, from the 7. Aikman, pressure. And that'll be an incomplete pass. Pressure by Trevor Price, who got to Aikman just as the Cowboy quarterback was winding up.
As this Trevor Price just becomes better and better, I was going to say by the day, I think by the play, as he just bull rushes in there and knocks Stepnoski back. It was a pretty good center and makes that happen.
I'll tell you what, that looked like Stepnoski thinking he was going to get some sort of help on that left side from Larry Allen. Allen blocked out Stepnoski, just let Trevor Price right up the gut. 3rd and goal from the 7. Aikman, left side pass is deflected, incomplete. Terrell Buckley all over the intended receiver, James McKnight. McKnight thought there was pass interference. Buckley with a great play, and the Denver defense holds here.
Oh, Buckley's a fabulous athlete. You mentioned he's all over him. Oh, well, I tell you what, yeah, he made a little contact on that one.
So Tim Sutter will try the field goal from the 15, a 25-yard shot, and the Cowboys on the board for the first time here with 2:07 left in the first quarter. He was a high school coach when he got the call as a free agent, and Sutter now with a very good chance of making this football team.
A nice job by the Broncos defense, bending a little bit. Cowboys get down the field, but they hold them to 3. Just a reminder, you can join us every Sunday night on 9 News, 10:35 for Broncos Tonight. Every Sunday, the game reaction highlights the most in-depth coverage from your Broncos station. Adam Schefter, of course. Blake Olson joins us every week. Broncos Tonight, Sunday nights at 10:35 here on 9 News.
Football crowd here at Mile High Stadium.
It looks good on you, though.
You know, every time I've gone to a Rockies game, I'd never see anybody quite like that.
Football is a different animal, completely.
Micah Nora will kick it away. And Deltha O'Neal, the Broncos' first-round draft choice out of the University of California, awaits at the goal line. 10-3, Denver with the lead. And maybe the first opportunity for the Bronco offense to work on their side of the 50. Both scoring drives have started in Dallas territory because of fumbles on kickoffs. Nora with a very high kick. O'Neal a yard deep to the 10. Full sprint to the 15, and just shy of the 20-yard line goes Deltha O'Neal. Hit there by Chris Akins.
May get to see a little of Deltha at the corner tonight. We did not see that last week against the Packers. He was a little bruised, and they wanted to just restrict him to the returns. But tonight we may see that.
So Brian Griese sees numbers in the early going, 3 of 7 last week. We told you pretty good game for the quarterback out of Michigan. 10 of 16 for 156 yards against the Packers. Ran the team effectively. We'll see what he does here in the last couple minutes of play of the first quarter. Griffith in motion as Greasy will drop back. Dumps one to Terrell Davis. He lowers his head and gets that over the 25-yard line in the late penalty play. Tackled by Dat Nguyen. See maybe if this is a face mask on the Cowboys. Nope. Illegal use of the hands against the Broncos. That was a late flag, and it came as Davis was being tackled.
That's where we're going. And
Hand tack already busy tonight. Not even through the first quarter, and we've seen more of him than we have of anybody else. Mike Shanahan, obviously not wanting to see.
illegal block in the back during the run offense. Number 29. Dead ball was beyond the line of scrimmage. The foul was beyond the line of scrimmage. We'll penalize from the spot of the foul.
So they get Howard Griffith, who was in motion as the play started. First and 16 now with the penalty march off from the 14-yard line. Davis left side, running hard, and here come two more penalty flags. Davis hit by Ryan McNeil and Dat Nguyen. And as you mentioned, Dick Hantak's crew has been active here in the first quarter.
Welcome to the Dick Hantak Show, everybody.
And this is going to go against the Broncos as well. Not offsetting penalties.
Holding. Offense, number 64. Illegal use of the hands. Defense, number 90. The fouls are all set. Replay, first down.
Lenny Friedman for the Broncos. Alonzo Spellman for the Cowboys. Both have said they're sorry, and we'll just line up and do it again.
Lenny, of course, and for Mark Schlereth, hoping Mark's recovery comes along a little quicker than it has been. This is a guy that bounces back from knee injuries better than anybody else. And this one's coming along a little slow, Dave.
Have to wait and see. They hope Schlereth can play next week. The final preseason game, at least a few snaps in San Francisco. First and 16 once again from the 14. Greasy to throw, deep drop. Great protection. And another penalty flag thrown as Dwayne Carswell gathers it in and gets out over the 20-yard line. Hit by Darren Hambrick, the linebacker, along with Dat Nguyen. And this is holding once again against the Broncos.
Well, this drive has been a disaster from the beginning.
I don't think Mike Shanahan right now can figure out who to be upset with.
Offense, number 62. Penalize half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. First down.
So from one guard, Lenny Friedman, to the other guard, Dan Neal. Neal in his fourth year out of Texas, third-round pick back in '97, who has really played well, especially the last couple of years. See him go from his hands and his hips to his hands crossed over his chest.
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign. First and call it 23 from the Broncos 7.
You got to be kidding.
And for the fourth consecutive plays, we have flags thrown. This, I think, will go against the Cowboys.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90, made contact prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still the first down.
Alonzo Spellman's second penalty in the last 4 plays. And now Dave Campo with his arms crossed.
You mentioned Campo coming in under... It's a familiar look here at Mile High, by the way. You mentioned Campo coming in under different circumstances than a Chan Gailey. You know, Gailey in his 2 years had a lot of trouble. I don't think that Emmett or Troy ever bought into what he was trying to do.
Didn't like the offense. Didn't like the style of the offense. When your quarterback doesn't like it, you're in big trouble if your quarterback is Troy Aikman. Terrell Davis with a nice first down run out over the 20-yard line. Dat Nguyen and George Teague there for the Cowboys, but Terrell, who gets up and walks to the sideline with a big pickup there of almost 10 yards.
That's one way to get half the chunk back very quickly. Nice cut back as Terrell does so well. Also a sweep block there on the left side by Nalen. Just Nalen doesn't stop either.
We have come to the end of the first quarter. Davis, by the way, 7 carries for 31 yards here in the first quarter at Mile High Stadium. Broncos enjoying a 10-3 lead with the second quarter just around the corner.
Anyone can offer you insurance over the web or an 800 number, but who's going to be there when you really need it? Allstate introduces the Good Hands Network with the web, an 800 number, and your local agent, all working together to help meet your needs on your schedule. So now, you can buy auto insurance from 1-800-ALLSTATE. And if someone breaks into your car, we'll be there. If a tree falls on your house and you file a claim through Allstate.com, we'll be there. But what makes the Good Hands Network unique is the commitment of your local Allstate agent. Because we're not just the first fully connected network. We're the only one that offers you an agent, no matter how you come to us. It's the best way yet to put you in good hands.
This year, the U.S. Olympic team will put the world's best to the test. And this summer, Cadillac invites you to put its best to the test during the Cadillac U.S. Olympic Countdown. And now you can get a 2000 Escalade with an onboard rear seat entertainment system with a flip-down monitor, video cassette player, and more. Obviously, it's the right time and the right opportunity. The power of and, the fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
Welcome back, Mile High Stadium. Dave Logan, Tony Zarella, Drew Soysher with you as the Broncos enjoying a 10-3 lead. Dallas fumbled the opening kickoff. Broncos in 7 plays went 23 yards. Terrell Davis from 5 yards out for the touchdown. Denver kicked off, and the Cowboys fumbled that kickoff as well, but had to settle, did the Broncos, for a Jason Elam 35-yard field goal. Cowboys with a nice drive of their own, but had to settle for a field goal, 10-3. Greasy left side, passes going to be caught. Rod Smith is on the run. Smith losing his footing out over the 35-yard line, but Denver will have a first down. Darren Hambrick, the closest Cowboy to Rod Smith.
Well, he had Ryan McNeil, who's a quality cornerback, backing up and off balance on that play. Nice play by Rod. Rod's had a, I said about McCaffrey, Rod hasn't had a bad camp either.
Smith, of course, along with McCaffrey, both over 1,000 yards last year for the Broncos. 1st and 10 from the Denver 35, Olandis Gary. Gary takes a big shot from George Teague. Ryan McNeil there as well. It's one thing about Olandis Gary. He spins so much when he runs between the tackles that he's going to get hit and hit hard, and at times he'll not be able to see him coming because he's spinning every which way. Watch him spin here.
You can see it on here. Last week he was spinning his way into the end zone, and he's not a big guy. And you got to wonder how many shots he's going to take doing this.
2nd and 7 at the 33. Toss. Here comes Gary again. Not much there. Darren Hambrick for the Cowboys. Gary, at about 218 pounds, I think gives Denver a different dimension than does Terrell Davis. Davis is more of a slasher, very, very strong, and I think Olandis Gary is just more of a bruising kind of tailback.
Yeah, when I say he's not a big guy, I'm talking height. He's not a big guy. He's a pretty solid guy, and again, the legs are always moving, and he seems to, his center of gravity is so low and strong, he can turn these things into 5 yards.
Broncos now go empty in the backfield, 3rd and 5. Greasy. Pressure. On the run, throws, pass too far for Travis McGriff. Greasy running for his life. Good pressure there by Ebenezer Ekubon. And also by Brandon Noble. And Travis McGriff just unable to get that throw.
He had about a step on Ryan McNeil, and Greasy didn't pick him up until he was over by the sideline, and as you saw, just overthrew him a little bit. A nice hustle and nice try by McGriff on that.
But Darren Hall, who fumbled 2 kickoffs in the first quarter, back for this Tom Ruin punt. Might not have a chance to return this one. Very, very high. Hall almost fumbled that one. Called a fair catch. And he was grabbed by Detron Smith, and penalty flags are thrown. That's a 40-yard punt by Tom Ruin.
And that's a shaky call. You know, Detron shouldn't touch him. He pulls it in the fair catch, but he's not trying to hit him, obviously. I don't know, maybe Hall's a little nervous, you know, playing in front of, I'm sure, some friends here at Mile High tonight.
There's Rick Dennison, the special teams coach for the Broncos. He doesn't agree with the call. Guy to his right doesn't either, I'm sure. Well, they're calling a personal foul, so this will be a 15-yard penalty.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness after the signal to a fair catch completed the catch. We do not have a number.
Well, Dick, it was number 42. We've got a timeout of the field. Interesting call here in the second quarter. 12:53 to go in the first half. Broncos lead the Cowboys 10-3. Back at Mile High Stadium is Mike Shanahan talking with one of the officials. A 15-yard personal foul penalty called on Detron Smith for an infraction on a punt returner who had signaled for a fair catch. So the Cowboy drive will start from their 34-yard line, 1st and 10. Aikman to Chris Warren, who gets nothing. And Trevor Price was all over Chris Warren in the Cowboy backfield. We've been joined up here in the booth by a guy that tonight was remembered a bit on the playing field. So we take a look at Trevor Price and the penetration he gets. Well, Steve Atwater with an illustrious career here as a Denver Bronco, and we're going to have Steve with us for the next few minutes as a color analyst of sorts. Welcome the former
it's great to see you.
All-American. Good to see you. Aikman on 2nd down with a play fake. Throws left side on the money. This is Galloway. Galloway has the first down and hits the ground in front of Eric Brown and also Terrell Buckley. Joey Galloway, who's one of the fastest receivers in all of football, signed as a free agent in the offseason. 7-year deal for $42 million plus 2 number 1s from Dallas to Seattle. But he can run.
Yeah, he's a player. That's Atwater money, by the way. $42 million.
How fast is Joey Galloway?
He's probably the fastest receiver I've ever faced.
He's got that extra gear.
Oh, man. And he's a pretty strong guy.
I always wanted that extra gear. 1st and 10 at the 47. Warren keeps his feet. And Chris Warren will have a Dallas first down. Eric Brown with a saving tackle.
Steve, speaking of former Seahawks, we were talking about Chris Warren earlier in the game, and this guy could probably start for half the teams in the league. He comes here, he's behind Emmett, but he's a fabulous athlete, and he still has it, as you can see.
Exactly. He's a great athlete. He's a big guy, has great feet. Reminds me a lot of Eric Dickerson.
Dickerson used to kind of hesitate for that half second before he burst through a hole.
First down, Dallas at the Denver 40. Aikman play fake. Wide open to the right sideline is Galloway, and Troy Aikman could not get the football to the former Buckeye. We've got Steve Atwater here. Give us a couple of your favorite memories of Mile High Stadium. It's going to be the last year of the stadium, obviously. And what comes to mind for you when you think of Mile High?
Favorite, well, I know when we played against the Oakland Raiders here, it was my rookie year. I got 2 interceptions that game. That's a very memorable game. Monday night game against Kansas City.
The big hit on Okoye.
Yeah, the big hit on Okoye. And just always seeing the crowd into the game, doing the wave. That's my favorite.
2nd and 10 carry by Michael Wiley goes for about 3 yards.
Yeah, yesterday, the press conference, you get emotional. You know what? When you guys, you're out there, you know, first you go and practice with your former players, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, just one more game. I just want to go there one more time.
No, I haven't been working out good enough to go out and play ball.
You look like you can still play.
But you guys get up there, and you probably don't know how emotional it's going to be, and then you get up there and you break down, and it was so heartfelt. And I think as Bronco fans, it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
3rd and 8, Dallas. Denver on the blitz. Pass is going to be caught. That's Wayne McGarity. McGarity on the loose. Wayne McGarity in the starting lineup tonight, replacing Raghib Ismail.
And not a big guy
out of Texas. Yeah, the draft choice that last year was a 4th rounder.
Very quick guy, but not a big guy. And Buckley gambles right there and just gets caught back and can't make the tackle.
He used to have great speed. He suffered 2 torn ACLs in college, but this was a guy that was a Texas champion in the 100 meters when he was in high school 3 times. So he can run, but he's coming off of 2 bad knees. Cowboys on the move again, 1st and 10 at the 14. Aikman to throw. Into the end zone, ball knocked away by Glenn Cadrez. And Steve Atwater with a couple of claps up here in the booth. That's all right. That's all right. You played with these guys. That was a big play.
Yeah, it's like I'm on the sideline. Like, gosh.
That's right.
Steve hasn't heard the no cheering in the press box rule, and you probably don't have to follow that rule.
No, yeah, these are my blue and orange. That's me.
You still feel it. You still feel it. I'm glad that it ended like this, and you came back, and now you go out as a Denver Bronco. I'm sure in the new stadium, someday you'll be in the Ring of Fame, and you still feel like part of the family.
Oh, I am.
Give us an idea here of the coverage they might call. What would a defense be? What kind of coverage is it?
2nd and 10. Nice conservative coverage. No blitz. Expecting a run. But of course, it's a pass.
And a fade pattern left side of the end zone. Pass is caught for a touchdown, and that is Joey Galloway. Galloway beat Terrell Buckley on the fade, and a perfectly thrown football by Troy Aikman. The Cowboys now an extra point away from the tie.
Oh, maybe Buckley was expecting a run, too. You know what? But you don't blame Terrell Buckley for that play. This guy is a fabulous receiver, and Buckley's with him. Step for step. Look at the pass.
Exactly.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't think Joey Galloway got both feet in bounds based on that. Boy, Denver should challenge this if they can.
They're trying to. Mike's trying to call.
And they did. I don't think Joey Galloway got both feet down in bounds. Mike Shanahan was about 15 yards out on the field because he could not get Dick Hantak's attention. We'll take a look at the replay in a moment.
Denver is challenging the call on the field of a touchdown.
So Mike Shanahan finally got Dick Hantak's attention, and fellas, I'll let you talk about this one.
Well, Steve, we're going to get 2 different angles of this.
Left foot down.
No, I agree with you, Dave.
Out of bounds.
I think this call is going to go in the Broncos' favor.
He does not drag that right foot, both feet in the air, left foot down. That right foot is in the air until it is crossing the out-of-bounds line. I think that's a no-brainer for Dick Hantak. Although, with respect for NFL officials, I suppose there's no such thing.
You still follow the team a lot? I know you go back east you get a late flight tonight, but you still get to talk to guys and watch them play?
I do. I watch them every chance I get. I talk to Ray Crockett regularly. I just try and read all the information I can. Got computers, so able to keep up with what's going on.
We talked to you a couple of weeks ago. A chance now for you to actually go to football practice with your sons and kind of do things you never really got a chance to do.
Exactly, and I'm going to enjoy it. I've been enjoying it these last couple of weeks.
One of the things Crockett talked to us, Steve, last week is, with a couple of new faces in the secondary, he thought it would take the entire preseason for these guys to gel. You agree with that?
Well, it takes a while to get to know what your teammates are going to do, especially each one in the secondary, and the linebackers feel the same way about their core guys. It takes a while, but they've been together all off season, except for Terrell Buckley. Terrell has a lot of experience, though, so he should be able to fit into the mix pretty quickly. And I think playing these preseason games is going to give them a lot of valuable experience, and going into the season, they should feel pretty comfortable with one another.
But Dick Hantak is going to go back and evidently take a second look at it. As I said, there's no such thing as a no-brainer when it comes to the officiating in the NFL. It sure looks like it's clear-cut. The right foot lands out of bounds.
Watch this foot here.
So Steve's looking at an ISO monitor that you're not able to see at home, but we're looking to see if that right foot actually, we'll see in a minute, maybe the right foot, he's going to rule. I can't imagine this would be a catch.
After reviewing the play is reversed. It is an incomplete pass. The second step was out of bounds. It will be 3rd and 10 on the 14. Denver is not charged a timeout.
Now, what did you see, Steve? You thought he didn't have the ball yet when you saw that left foot. That's what you're talking about?
Exactly. He didn't have the ball yet.
Take a look again. A perfectly thrown ball and an outstanding catch.
Exactly.
Just Joey Galloway unable to get both feet down. I must say, not bad coverage by Terrell Buckley that time.
Exactly.
So Dave Campbell thought he had his first touchdown of the half here, but instead still finds his club 7 points behind.
You like what you see so far? They talk about a Billy Jenkins being a big hit, big play guy. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I do agree with it. He came in and stuck his head, ran right through the guy.
Yeah. That reminded me a little bit of you on that one. So third down now, 3rd and 10. The ball at the Bronco 14-yard line. The touchdown pass from Aiken to Galloway wiped out, much to the chagrin of that man, Jerry Jones. But a good call. Aikman with the blitz on the way. Pump fakes, throws left side pass, caught by Galloway. Buckley's got him. And he should be with that spot at the 3 in first down range. You played against Troy Aikman, I'm sure, a number of times. Pretty cool customer in the pocket.
Oh, exactly. He has great patience in the pocket. I think he was staring his guy down a little bit. But the cornerback can't see that. He's playing man-to-man coverage, and the only thing that he's concentrating on is the wide receiver. He can't look back and see what the quarterback is doing.
So the drive continues as Aikman to Galloway for 14 yards. First and goal now at the Denver 3 with 8:43 to go in the first half. Chris Warren left side, nothing there. Romanowski is there, so was Al Wilson, and Billy Jenkins as well.
And Steve, you know, there's a certain hit that took place on this turf. I don't know, about 10 years ago maybe? That everybody still talks about. And when this happened to Coy, describe it for us.
There it is.
Ooh.
I was in my prime then.
Well, so was he, and that's what people, you got to remember how menacing he was back then.
Yeah.
Second and goal from the 3. Play fake. Aikman pressured and throws it away. Pressure that time by former Cowboy Kavika Pittman. Pittman in his rookie season with the Cowboys had 6 sacks. In the next 3 seasons combined had only 4, but he comes free of Troy Aikman here.
Well, Pittman's been in a bad mood for the last few days. He was fined $6,000 for his hit on Hasselbeck, completely disagreed with it, and he's taking it out on his former team now.
Troy Aikman trying to figure out who's supposed to block Kavika Pittman. 3rd and goal from the 3. James McKnight in motion. Blitz again. Aikman in the flat, incomplete. And a big hit by Eric Brown on Chris Warren. I'll tell you what, Steve Atwater, had Eric Brown looked up there, he might have had a pick and a 100-yard interception return.
That's exactly what I would have done.
You'd rather have the pick than the hit?
I'd rather have the hit.
That's what I was thinking. You know, safeties all think alike. I think he wanted the hit.
Oh, no question he wanted the hit.
He's a player, Steve.
And he got the hit.
I thought he had a decent Larry. I thought he had a better than average year last year for the Bucs.
Oh, yes, of course.
Ooh.
So Tim Setter, for the second time, with the ball spotted at the 11-yard line, an attempt of 21 yards. And for the second time, he knocks it through. But a victory of sorts for the Bronco defense. They keep the Cowboys out of the end zone once again. 7:52 to go here in the first half. Denver enjoying a 10-6 lead at Mile High Stadium. Back at Mile High Stadium, big hit by Eric Brown on 3rd down. Forces the Cowboys to settle for a field goal. Dave Logan, Tony Zarella, Drew Soysher on the sideline. Steve Atwater, former Bronco great, in the booth with us. How about this hit, 27?
I love it. Woo. Didn't have any ideas coming.
How much can a goal line stand like that spark a team? They feed off the defense?
Oh, sparks it big time. The offense loves it. Defense loves it. The coaches are jumping up and down.
Well, the guy didn't love that was the guy who got hit. Kickoff as Deltha O'Neal slaps his hands in disgust, will land out of the end zone. The Broncos will start at their 20-yard line. By the way, officially a 20-yard field goal by Setter of the Cowboys.
So you had a big posse with you tonight. You get your family here?
Yes, I had my wife, Letha, my 3 boys, Stephen, DeAndre, and Paris, and my mother, Jesse Atwater, my father, Jethro Atwater. They all came down. My mom and dad came to St. Louis, and able to share this special moment with us.
Taking a look, TD coming up. This was before the game, and you had a tremendous ovation from the crowd here. This has been like a couple of days of just hitting your heart, hasn't it?
Oh, man, it has been.
Plus, it's got to make your dad feel good. You know what I mean? He's out there with you, and your whole family. Nice to have your whole family.
Yeah, it really was. It was really special. It was really special.
There's the ovation.
The little guys are funny.
You haven't been on that field many times without pads on.
I know.
Think about it.
When I was with the Jets last year, we played against the Broncos. I remember we did the national anthem, and just standing on the other sideline, looking over at the Broncos, the tears just came to my eyes. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be over there. There's all my buddies over there. Now, what am I doing on this other sideline, man?
It's a weird feeling.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I mean, when you come back here, we had a chance on 9 News tonight before the game to look back over the 40-year history and the love affair with these fans who, as you know, Steve, win or lose, are among the best in all of football.
Oh, no doubt.
You go back east, was it different?
It was different. They were loud and rowdy, but it was a different kind of crowd.
I mean, I know they're diehards, but I'm from the East Coast, and they're diehards, no question, but there's something here.
Oh, there's something here. I mean, this town is a smaller town, and everyone loves football.
O'Neal from the 3, and he's got the corner. Delta O'Neal run out of bounds after crossing the Denver 40-yard line. So the offsides penalty against the Cowboys in the previous kick really hurts them. A return of 39 yards by Delta O'Neal. Brian Greasy in the offense back in the field for the Broncos as we take a timeout. 7:34 to go in the first half. Denver by 4 at Mile High. Back with 7:34 to go in the first half. Eric Brown in the last big hit of Chris Warren with a lacerated chin. So we'll see if EB is going to get stitched up and return to action. Denver starts this drive after the 39-yard kickoff return from Delta O'Neal at their 41. Gary and Griffith behind Greasy, who will throw on first down. Pass caught. McCaffrey spins away from one and almost pulls out of the tackle by Darren Woodson, but Eddie McCaffrey will have a first down at the Cowboy 39-yard line. Steve, how tough to cover a guy like McCaffrey?
Oh, it's extremely tough. He's a big guy, and he's extremely fast. People don't realize how fast and quick Eddie McCaffrey is.
Well, one of the things Mike Shanahan always talks about is how well he runs with his pads on. Now, to put that in perspective, you go out, you run a 4.40, but in the fourth quarter with pads, you're not running that. He does. He's in such great shape.
You're exactly right. Now, he has on some Little League pads, but...
Landis Gary carrying Major League pads for a short gain into the interior of the Cowboy defense. Darren Hambrick was there. So was Alonzo Spellman.
Tell you, the Cowboys have had their problems over the last couple of years, but the D-line isn't one of them. The D-line, and you see Underwood in there, who we'll talk about him. He's going to probably see a lot of reps tonight. He's an interesting story, but this D-line, they're tough to run the football on, and the Broncos, give them credit for being able to do it tonight, Steve.
Oh, I agree.
2nd and 7 now from the 36. 6:20 to go in the first half. Denver on the move once again. They have moved the football tonight consistently on offense. Greasy, play fix. Loads it up. He's got Smith in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Denver! Rod Smith with a penalty flag thrown with a great catch of a Brian Greasy throw, but let's see about the penalty. And it looks like it's coming back.
There is no foul on the play. Initially, number 64 was called for tripping. However, the ball was already thrown and had no effect on the play. Result of the play, touchdown.
So Lenny Friedman called for tripping, but after the ball was thrown, so a touchdown for the Broncos. How about this route, Steve?
Pushes him to the outside. Oh, the corner's squatting.
Well, Rod Smith, we talked about this in an earlier game. He's a little quicker than people give him credit for. You know, Steve, everybody says Broncos don't have a deep threat, but I think Rod is a little faster than people think.
Oh, he is. He's got excellent jumping abilities, great hands, and great speed.
That ball on the money from Brian Greasy. Elam's extra point try is good. And the Broncos with a 17-6 lead. That looked like Darren Woodson may have taken too flat an angle.
Yeah, I think his angle was bad,
pattern.
first of all. The ball came into him. He should have been able to read it a little bit better and take a better angle. It also looked like the corner squatted.
We'll take a timeout from Mile High Stadium. They're on their feet at Mile High. Brian Greasy with a touchdown throw. We head back to the sideline of Drew Social.
Hey guys, looks like Broncos safety Eric Brown might have gotten the worst end of that big collision with Chris Warren. Brown suffered a lacerated chin and he's in the locker room right now getting stitched up.
The perils of playing strong safety. Black and Wiley. This is Black on the run. And out to the 27-yard line, hit first by Mike Anderson. Running back out of Utah, trying to make this team as a special teamer. Good to see Steve Atwater, who is on his way out of the booth now. He's got a plane to catch to get back home tonight. He's got duties as a father tomorrow morning, bright and early.
That's priority number one, and could he play? I mean, 8 Pro Bowls in the 10 years.
Take a look at the Broncos scoring drive. 36-yard pass from Greasy to Rod Smith. Quickly, too. 59 yards in 3 plays. So Dallas now 1st and 10 from their 27-yard line. Aikman still in the game. Hit as he throws. Ball is going to be well short of the intended receiver. Al Wilson got to Troy Aikman just as he was stepping up into the throw.
Want to tell you, we've seen the last of Terrell Davis tonight. He has a sore left hamstring. Hamstrings just continue to nick away at the Broncos throughout this preseason, and because it's the preseason, they're going to hold him out now the rest of the game, which is the smart move.
Well, there's a guy whose motor runs all the time, and Wilson, you'll see as Aikman plans to step into the throw, is right there. Let's look at Terrell Davis. Hopefully that hamstring is not going to bother him next week in San Francisco, the Broncos' last preseason game. 2nd and 10 now from the 27. Aikman again to throw. Down the sideline, intended for Joey Galloway. Ray Crockett on the coverage there. That's a race that you don't want to see Crockett get in, who's playing at about 80% because of that pulled hamstring, trying to chase one of the fastest receivers.
You can just see the speed of Joey Galloway. He's just got that extra level, that extra burst to gain that yard or two on the cornerback, and Kanoy Kennedy was over there to help out, but he's a scary receiver.
So Aikman's numbers in the first half, not all that good. 7 of 18 for 95 yards. 3rd and 10 Cowboys from the Dallas 27. Too tall for McGarity at the 45, incomplete, and Dallas will punt it away. Ernie Zampese, who's brought back as a consultant for this Cowboy offense, said Troy Aikman is mechanically the soundest quarterback he has ever seen. Zampese's been in this league a long time.
He's so consistent, and even last year in their struggles going 8-8, not happy with Chan Gailey with the offense, and Aikman and Emmett very disgruntled, and even last year they both had decent seasons.
Buckley and O'Neal, first time we've seen the Broncos with a 2 punt returner system. Await the kick of Micah Noor. Not a good kick, but a good return ball. Buckley at the 35. Will wind up losing 7 or 8 yards. Chris Akins down to make the tackle there for the Cowboys. People forget Terrell Buckley is an excellent punt return. There was a guy that he's a double-digit per return for his career.
Yeah, and in fairness to him, when he came out of Florida State, I think for a lot of people, the logical comparison was Dion, and those are pretty high expectations of somebody. But, talking to Steve Atwater during the commercial break, Buckley can play, and Shanahan will tell you he can start on a lot of teams in this league.
That's pretty much what Steve Atwater told us in the booth. He likes Terrell Buckley very, very much as a player. .534 to go here in the first half. Denver enjoying a 17-6 lead. They've got a 1st and 10 from their 28. Gary and Griffiths behind Greasy, who will throw. Penalty flag thrown. Ball's going to be caught by Rod Smith. Broncos really working on the rookie corner, Kareem Larimore. Penalty flag is thrown. Smith all the way out past the 45-yard line. And this is going to go against Dallas.
There's still 5.5 minutes left in the first half, and this has already been a long night for Dave Campo. The Cowboys, the most penalized team in football last year. And they're starting again.
Illegal hands, defense, number 41. Hands of the face. Penalty is declined. First down.
Well, they've talked about his aggressiveness in Dallas, and they do like Kareem Larimore, but I'll tell you this, anybody who plays on the corner as a rookie in this league has got his work cut out for him. He's a 4th-round draft choice this year, and he is going to get a lot of action early in the regular season.
Yeah, we were talking about that early. They're going to test him.
So 1st and 10 from the 48. Greasy on a roll. Throws. Pass is going to be caught by McCaffrey, and that should be enough for a 1st down. And once again, Kareem Larimore. Pretty good pressure by Chad Hennings on Brian Greasy, but again, the accuracy of Greasy apparent here in the first half. That's the 2nd catch for McCaffrey, and a Bronco 1st down.
And, you know, Greasy isn't going to admit that McCaffrey's his go-to guy. I mean, he's looking at him from the beginning on that play, but it's clear he is very comfortable with Ed McCaffrey, and he's going to find him more often than not this season.
Kareem Larimore might as well wear a bullseye on his chest. Handoff, big hole Gary. Gary on the roll. Olandis Gary all the way down to the 21-yard line, where Darren Woodson and George Teague, the Cowboy safeties, combine in the tackle. But there's Kareem Larimore, the cornerback, and the rookie not making the play on Olandis Gary.
Well, it starts in the backfield. Coakley was coming up and ran right by him in the backfield.
Right here's the play.
And then you're going to see that. You got to make that tackle. This kid's having a rough night. That's another 10, 15 yards.
Tell you what, one play you get Rod Smith, the next play you get Ed McCaffrey, and then you get Olandis Gary with a full head of steam coming at you. You'll earn your paycheck tonight. 1st and 10, the drive continues at 21. Greasy with time. Back of the end zone. Pass is going to be caught by Byron Chamberlain, and that is a Bronco touchdown. Byron Chamberlain, I think, beat Ryan McNeil. He is protesting, wants to take a look at the instant replay, but a great throw again. I don't know if he did get both feet down. Great throw by Brian Greasy.
Yeah, fabulous throw.
That's actually Dexter Coakley on coverage.
And there's the mismatch we talked about. When they get a tight end, especially a quick one like Chamberlain, on a linebacker, Chamberlain's going to win that battle.
And Dave Campo quickly trying to get the word to our referee, Dick Hantek, that he would like to see that again. So Byron Chamberlain, who has been quiet this preseason, had a couple of nagging injuries, had a calf pull early in camp. But I talked with Mike Shannon this week, and he said he's finally starting to work himself back into shape.
Well, and it's
Dallas is challenging the call on the field of the 2nd foot being down for a touchdown.
It's good to see Byron out there again, you know, especially against a first-team defense. You don't want to be putting this guy in garbage time. They want to know what Byron can do. And it's good to see that he's still in the mix in terms of the battle for tight end.
And he beat a Pro Bowl linebacker in Dexter Coakley on that throw. Take a look at it. Of course, in the NFL, two receivers have to get both feet in bounds once in possession of the football. You can see Ryan McNeil there trying to point down. Your foot stepped out of bounds, and
well, I like Byron's arguing with him.
No, that's not my foot.
No, that's Dexter's foot. All right, busy night. Rockies holding on to a 1-run lead over the Marlins. The Todd Helton watch. Is this a phenomenal story down the stretch? The latest anyone has hit this well. George Brett, back in 1980, was there, but ended up hitting 390. But Todd Helton, 398 now. You get the Bengals leading the Bears by a touchdown in Cincinnati. Washington, who everybody's picking, they're already giving them the NFC East. Looking good in Cleveland. Cleveland comes here this year. You talk about the schedule for the Broncos at home. as they should be pretty solid. The Steelers having a lot of trouble in the preseason. Their offense just not working. They're down 11. The Bills tied with the Rams in the second in St. Louis. Jacksonville continued nailed by the injuries. Carnell Lake done for the year now after the surgery. The Chiefs trail them, though. We see the Niners, of course. They start, and I think they're just underway against Seattle. But we see the Niners next week in San Francisco, and they're another team that could be in for a long season.
Hantak looking like he's watching his favorite movie right now. How long does this take?
I think the average fan, people at home, I sit there and I say, what are they looking at? We see it, and we say, well, you could look at the Galloway play and in 10 seconds figure out that he didn't make the catch. And these guys take 2 minutes to figure it out. And I sit there, what are they looking at? How many angles do you need?
Well, they want to make sure because they're second guessed by folks like us, should they not be certain here. But I've got to think this is going to be overturned.
After reviewing the play, the left foot was the first foot to touch in the end zone. The right foot came down in the end zone.
Touchdown.
We have a touchdown.
So it is not overturned. Dave Campo.
Dallas is charged a timeout.
0 for 2 on those tonight.
This is a rough night for the Dallas Cowboys already, and we're not even midway through. And this was a close one.
See the players jousting. Might as well be some dice down there.
They were in their
stance.
stance.
Like me and my friends. Elam with the extra point try is good. Dave Campo trying to exude some confidence, but can't be happy with what he's seen so far. Of course, his team did fumble the initial 2 kickoffs and lost both.
Yeah, it's been rough. And, in that division, it's going to be tough for the Cowboys to make a run anyway. The preseason doesn't matter, but they're winless. I mean, it's a pretty good shot now. They're going 0 for 4 after tonight. Just a reminder, as you know, the 2000 Summer Olympic Games just around the corner, a few weeks away. 9 News and NBC, your home for all Olympic coverage. You can catch the daily live coverage along with the festivities and the spirit of the Olympic Games direct from Sydney. Right here on 9 News, we're sending Jim Beneman, our 9 News anchor, as you know, over to Sydney. He'll be there for about a month. Complete coverage from down under here on 9 News, just a couple of weeks away. Amy Van Dyken, of course, going over now in 2 events, the 50-meter freestyle and the relay. But the 50 meters, she's the defending champ in that, won the gold medal, one of her 4 medals, and likes her chances. She thought in the final of the trials, she finished second. She thought she could have picked it up a little bit more and finished first, and she, despite the shoulder surgery 7 months ago, feels like she can make a great run.
Black and Wiley back deep for the Cowboys. Elam once again for the Broncos, 24-6. Denver with an 18-point first half lead, and Elam once again with a nice kickoff. This will be Wiley 2 yards deep. The rookie from Ohio State is smashed down shy of the 20, and 2 late penalty flags are thrown.
Almost hit Elam.
Jason Moore and also by George Cockett. It'll be against the Cowboys. Dave Campo, Joe Avanzano, the longtime special teams coach.
And don't read lips, please. This is a family show. They're not too happy, obviously. This has been a rough night for them.
During the return, hold, number 55. That penalty is declined. During the return, illegal block in the back, number 50. That penalty is accepted. First down.
You got to sit there and take it, young guy.
I was going to say, I don't think he's arguing the call. He looks like he's okay with the call. He's not okay with his player.
So the penalty will back the Cowboys up to right on the 10-yard line. Dallas has actually had a couple of quality drives, a 14-play 73-yard drive and a 13-play 64-yard drive as you take a look at the penalties. But both have resulted in only field goals. And Troy Aikman continues at quarterback. Aikman to Wiley. Wiley one step away from being off to the races. Hit by Billy Jenkins. Michael Wiley can fly, the 5th-round draft choice this year out of Ohio State. They thought they might play him, Tony, at some receiver, but they said definitely now he is a running back.
Yeah, they like him a lot, and that was a sweet move cutting back right there before Jenkins trips him up. Otherwise, see you later. They got 6.
Of course, Cowboys without Emmitt Smith, who did not make the trip. Smith with several nagging injuries. They want to get him healthy for the regular season. 2nd and 2. Wiley again, looking for a place to run, doesn't find it. Keith Traylor was in the backfield and made Wiley change directions, and then he was cleaned up by the Bronco defense. Down to the sideline, let's talk with Drew Soicher.
Hey guys, one thing that might explain all the penalties, if it looks like some of the Cowboys and Broncos are playing with desperation tonight, there's good reason. Each NFL team must trim its roster from 73 players to 64 by Tuesday, so the axe is coming, and none of the players want to get cut.
Drew, thank you. This is a game that obviously you want to get in, because if you don't get in this game, the chances of you not being around for what Drew was just talking about for that last cut or the next cut is pretty good. 3rd and 3, and Aikman will take a timeout.
That is their 3rd and final timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Speaking of not getting in, we have also seen the last of Eric Brown tonight. We mentioned the cut on the chin after that big hit down by the goal line. He's back out here, but he's not in pads. So his night is over as well. And Terrell Davis, in case you missed it, with the sore left hamstring, is out of the game for precautionary reasons.
Troy Aikman feels like he'll like this Cowboy offense a little bit more. They're going to try to stretch the defense, more of a vertical passing game than what he's been used to the last couple of years. You mentioned Jack Riley, also Ernie Zampese back in the fold, and Aikman, you can look for, if you're a Cowboy fan, you can look for him to throw the ball down the field a bit more this year.
Yeah, you know, when I talked about earlier, when they were successful, they're winning the 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, it was a simple offense, and it was a lot of short, quick passes. You think of the Cowboys, you think of Michael Irvin and big plays. He would turn it into big plays, which is what they're hoping from Galloway, but it wasn't an excruciatingly complex offense. That's what they're trying to get back to.
And he had Emmitt Smith behind him, one of the great running backs of all time. Aikman, by the way, with 158 career touchdown passes, 127 interceptions. 3rd and 3 at the 17. McGarity in motion as Aikman drops back. Looks left, and the ball is knocked away at the line of scrimmage by Keith Traylor. Traylor active tonight from the Bronco interior. You don't think a man his size has this kind of athletic ability, but take a look.
Nah, is he a force? And I think he thought he had a shot to catch. He's not to hit him in the pads, but he looked at his arms as though, he knew he was going.
Tell you what, Terrell Buckley was going to have a pretty good jump on that football had Traylor not knocked it down. O'Neal set to return. Might have a shot here. Drifts back and from the 31. No place to go. Nice coverage by the Cowboy special team. Corey Atkins once again down to make a tackle. 48 yards on the punt. No return yardage, and with 1 minute and 53 seconds to go in the first half, the Broncos with an 18-point lead.
Things get hot, look for the silver shine of a frost-brewed Coors Light.
Over the past 65 years, Chevy Suburban has come a very long way. Introducing the best Suburban yet. The all-new Chevy Suburban. Like a rock.
Ready to order? Yeah. Yeah.
You want me to come back?
No. You go first. Me? You go first.
Well, I always go first.
I'll come back.
Oh, wait.
Great. Lost her.
At Country Buffet, you're not pressured to choose. You're surrounded with choices. Over 90, prepared fresh each day. So you can have whatever you want, whenever you're ready.
We're ready.
We're starving.
Hello?
Country Buffet. Great choice.
And welcome back, everybody. Tony Zarella, Dave Logan. Just a reminder, 9 News with a very special presentation planned on Friday night. Join us for From Guts to Glory, the Mike Shanahan story, 6:30. We'll kick it off, taking you back in time to Mike's childhood days in Illinois and show you the career path. That's Friday night as we go up to the kickoff in San Francisco.
Broncos 1st and 10 from their 34-yard line. Brian Griese has played the entire first half, sets up the screen, which is knocked up in the air, and then just batted to the turf by Landis Garrett. I think Ebenezer Ecubon got a hand on it as the Bronco and Cowboy players are separated. Ecubon in his 2nd year in North Carolina, the Cowboys' first-round draft choice last year. Knocked to the ground. Pretty good job there, just getting up and getting his right hand on that pass.
He's a player. He came in late in the year last year and started a few games down the stretch because of injuries. But, you know, they like him a lot, and they love that front D line for the Cowboys. They're consistent, and they're one of the toughest in the league.
You see Griese's numbers, 3 timeouts left. The Broncos with 1:48 to go in the first half, trying to get more points on the board. Empty backfield as Griese drops back, blitz on the way, and Rod Smith has it. Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen a number of players just slip to the ground. Receivers trying to make cuts, a lot of guys falling down.
Yeah, the turf just slipping away under him. You know, one thing you talked about earlier, Dave, I agree with you. You had Woodson coming all the way. Is he a player? But Griese, nice job getting rid of the football. And they're not asking Brian. He looks so comfortable. And they're not asking him to do too much. What they're giving him to work with in the game plan fits him pretty well.
Brian Griese picking up that blitz and dumping the football. And if you can pick it up in preseason, you don't see it nearly as many times. Blitzed again, but he finds Smith again. Rod is going to be about a yard shy of the first down. That's a play that if a certain player comes in a blitz, Griese has to dump the ball. He is unaccounted for in that blocking scheme. And both times, I believe Woodson has been coming, and both times he's been free, but with Griese dumping the ball, he's been able to get rid of it. Injured player is Izell Reese, who just was back from a knee injury sustained last year.
And he got tangled up, I think, with Ed McCaffrey. McCaffrey trying to throw a block for Rod after the catch. And I think Reese came out of there spinning and went down. This might be another knee injury for him. He might have aggravated the same injury. But you're going to see McCaffrey come over and try to help Rod out, and I think they bumped knees or something. His knee bumps McCaffrey's arm, but he went down right after that out of the screen.
He's number 43, right side of your screen. I think he just got hit in the midsection. I wouldn't say his knees are all that banged up, but you might want to check one of those ribs. Of course, at halftime, in 57 seconds or so, we'll be sending you back to the 9 News studio update with Ginger Delgado, Ward Lucas, and then some first half highlights for you. Been plenty of highlights for the Broncos. They lead 24-6. Broncos' first team offense has played the entire half.
Yeah, on defense, we're starting to see some other guys come in. We saw Kanoy on the last drive for Dallas. Ian Gold, who is going to be a big-time player in this league, has already been working his way in.
Jason Kaiser replaces Izell Reese in the Cowboy secondary.
Game clock to read 57 seconds. 57 seconds, 40 seconds on the play clock.
And this is a situation here where you don't get many opportunities with live game action where you can really utilize your offense in the 2-minute drill. The Broncos still have all 3 timeouts remaining. For Mike Shanahan, Dave Campo obviously with his nickel defense in, wanting to see how they react under pressure to an offense that thus far has been able to move the ball consistently. 4th and 1. Greasy trying to draw the Cowboys off. Dallas doesn't bite, and Denver will take a timeout. So now the question is, Tony, will they go for it here?
Well, 38 seconds left in the first half, and in the preseason, I, as a fan of football, would love to see him make that move.
I think Mike Shanahan right there talking to Brian Greasy saying, look, you didn't even let your back move. But Landis Gary went in motion after Brian Greasy had already given up on the cadence.
A long first half for these teams. They really get, you know, they started off so quickly. The Broncos did, at least. I think they appreciated the way the game started with the 2 fumbles on the kicks and seeing they come flying out of the gates, and then we've seen so many penalties. It has gone to a screeching, if not a halt, certainly a slowdown, a stall. It's been a 2-hour first half.
We'll just say a nice paced walk.
You're a good man.
Darren Hall, back at the 10-yard line, snapped a little low for Tom Ruin, who gets off a high kick. Hits at the 22 and takes a Bronco bounce. Actually, several bounces. It comes to rest inside the 10-yard line. That's what the Cowboys will take over with 23 seconds left in the first half and no timeouts. So you get gutty here, Coach?
Of course you get gutty. You know, it's a preseason. You're down 24-6, and you got 23 seconds left. Air it out. I'm not a big conservative guy when it comes to coaching. You know, the take a knee thing I never got. Just play football. Even just air it out. The fans are here to see you air it out. Play some football.
Bet you chocolate donut they take a knee.
Of course they're going to take a knee. And they're going to go 0-4 in the preseason. I feel bad for this guy.
I do too. Darren Hall, the former CSU standout, has had a tough first half.
Yeah, and you know, you're not going to pull in that punt. You're going to let it go, but he can't get a break. And it bounces 10 more yards inside the 10. And you're right again, by the way.
I'll split the donut with you.
Thanks, man.
So the Cowboys, with Troy Aikman taking a knee, will trot to the locker room, trailing the Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium 24-6. Stay tuned. We'll have first half highlights after we check in at the 9 noon. Well, we'll hear from Mike in a couple of minutes.
You had to be pleased, Dave, overall.
Yeah, you would think so.
I don't know about the penalties. He didn't look too happy about that. But
his team's ahead by 18 points. You'll just have to trust us, he was pleased, at least with most of it. Death O'Neal is back for Denver, and Micah Noor once again will kick it for the Cowboys. Great night for football here, as we thought there may be some precipitation as the game went on, but so far it has held off.
Well, mid-'80s when the game started, unlike a week ago when they played during the day. They hadn't played a preseason home game since 1975 during the day, for obvious reasons. It's pretty hot. This is a lot nicer.
I think the Arizona Cardinals should subscribe to that same theory. No home games unless they build a dome.
Down there it's still 100 at 10 at night.
Thus the dome. O'Neal watches it hit in the back of the end zone, and Denver will take over first and 10 at their 20-yard line. We suspect that we'll see at least a few of the first-team offensive players. Gus Frerotte trots out, Detron Smith, Travis McGriff, Andre Reed, to name a few, and we'll try to keep you updated on the changes that the Broncos make, as well as the Cowboys. Frerotte coming off a pretty good performance last week as he replaced Brian Greasy. He was 13 of 20. 453 yards. Frerotte in his 7th year in the NFL. Acquired in the offseason. And they start at the 20. This is Gary, who squirts through for a couple. Michael Myers, a third-year player from Alabama, on the stop for the Cowboys.
Well, Byron's also in there, but you see Andre Reed, and we should also see Robert Brooks for the first time at some point here in the third quarter.
Melvin Tootin, David Diaz-Infante, Casey Jones, Chris Banks, and Trey Teague, the offensive line for Gus Frerotte. 2nd down and 8. First half minute of action here in the third quarter. Farrat, short drop, quick release. McGriff on the move. Travis McGriff makes one Cowboy miss and let a first down out to the 32-yard line where he's hit by Chris Atkins. Take a look at the first half stats. Broncos with 223 total yards to the Cowboys 148. 2 costly turnovers by the Cowboys. 9 penalties combined, and I bet 5 or 6 declined in that first half. So Farrat to McGriff for a first down at the 33-yard line. And Landis Geary doesn't get much on that carry.
Now the Cowboys stacking the line there. In fact, Larimore was up there as well and in on the tackle.
As well as Chris Bordano. Bordano in his 3rd year from SMU. Cowboys got him in the offseason in a trade with New Orleans. A little bit bigger middle linebacker than Dat Wynn. Bordano 6'1", about 245. Dallas loves speed at the linebacking position.
And they were so strong for all of those years when they were winning consistently at linebacker and D-line.
And they were very, very simple. Mike Shanahan said that even in their heyday, the Cowboys were one of the more simple defenses you'd go against. They just executed. Farrat, deep drop, fires one over the middle, incomplete at the Cowboy 40-yard line. Desmond Clark had a shot, but couldn't pull it down. Gus Farrat showing you his arm strength and quick release on that throw.
Yeah, I thought he should have pulled that in, but that was great protection by the O-line and a sweet strike. You got to make it. That's there.
That ball on a line for about 35 yards from Gus Farrat. 3rd down and 9 now from the Denver 34. Clark resets and comes in motion. Farrat in the pocket with ample time. Now on the run, throws too far for Andre Cooper. Cooper covered there by Hurley Tarver. Farrat had pretty good time but couldn't find anybody downfield, and Denver will have to punt it. Ebenezer Ekuban on the pressure.
That's the thing about this offensive line. You take out the starting 5, you put another group in, and they're so consistent. They're so strong.
That's Wayne McGarity, who had a big play in the first half. McGarity out of the University of Texas in his 2nd year. As Tom Ruin gets another towering kick. McGarity at the 24 is swarmed under. And wouldn't you know it, penalty flags thrown. First one down, Chris Gizzi for the Broncos.
You talked about McGarity earlier in his world-class speed. Not just good football speed. This guy was a track star.
Before the knee injuries.
Before the knee injuries. You can see this is another one going against the Cowboys. But, you know, tonight he's in there. He starts the game. He's in place of James McKnight, who's coming off a major knee injury of his own last year. Ripped up the ACL in his left knee. So McGarity, who's not a big guy, got the start.
Holding while the kick was in the air. Return team number 42 will penalize from the spot of possession 10 yards.
So it couldn't be 42. That would be Chris Warren. A 43-yard punt by Tom Ruin. And with the penalty on one of the Cowboys, Dallas will be backed up inside their 15-yard line. Cowboys really moved the football rather well a couple of times in the first half. 73-yard drive and also a 64-yard drive, but had to settle for 2 field goals. 24-6 Broncos. The Cowboys have their first opportunity of the second half. They trail 24-6. And we will see a number of new faces for the Cowboys as well. Take a look at Bill Romanowski and Greg Robinson. Clint Sterner now the quarterback for the Cowboys. Sterner, the free agent rookie out of the University of Arkansas. Handoff right side, and that is Michael Black. For not much.
Talking to one of the guys from Dallas before the game, and he thinks Sterner's going to make the team. And you know, they deal in such big numbers that you find this hard to believe, but he makes about $300,000 less than Paul Justin, the other number 3 guy, who's been the number 3 guy, that they think they're going to save $300 grand and go with Clint Sterner instead.
Randall Cunningham, the backup quarterback, didn't throw at all this week, had tendinitis, and a lot of folks in Cowboy land thought Troy Aikman's arm was suffering because he took virtually every snap. Sterner. Quick play fake, and then the flat ball is dropped. Nope, you can't pick it up, I don't think. It's Michael Black again, unless they call that a fumble. Sure looked like he didn't have possession of the football, but they may spot that after he picked it up. No, now they're going to say incomplete.
Pass is ruled incomplete.
Okay. Dick Hantek clarifying that. Take a look.
Yeah. So this is one of those plays that it's just too easy.
That is Troy Hambrick, one of the backup fullbacks.
Yeah, Hantak's had a lot of face time tonight.
Yeah, it has been a sloppy game, certainly. 3rd and 7. Ball at the Cowboys' 16-yard line. With penalty flags thrown, Sterner back throws and has it knocked away by lunging Deltha O'Neal, intended for James McKnight. I think the Broncos may have jumped here.
You got it. Take another look at it right here. Looked like Hasselbeck.
Offside. Defense number 96 moved into the neutral zone prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 3rd down.
Harold Hasselbeck would have been around for a few years and just so consistent. They bring in other defensive ends, but he's going to be on the team. He's one of these guys that steps up. I mentioned that about Mike Lotish a couple of weeks ago. Lotish back in there tonight, too, and they seem to just step up and, I don't want to say overachieve, but they get it done.
6th penalty of the night for the Broncos. 3rd and 2 Dallas from just outside their 20. Broncos look like they'll blitz. Handoff, and that won't get it. Monte Rager in the backfield, although Michael Black really tripped either over his own feet or over the quarterback Sterner's feet as he took the handoff. Whichever, the Cowboys are going to have to kick it away.
This poor guy's had a tough sequence, 2 times in 3 plays, and he's tripping over himself.
So Micah Noor will punt to Deltha O'Neal. See if Delphin doesn't use quite so many moves this time, just gets that football upfield. High, short kick. From the 41, here goes O'Neal. O'Neal down the sideline and knocked off his feet inside the Cowboy 35-yard line, showing you just a glimpse of what the Broncos hope will eventually be one of the league's outstanding punt return men.
He could be a great one, but he also got some help. When we come back, we're going to take a look at that, but his 2nd sweet return of the night.
Punt of 40 yards, got a great block from Brad Trout. Biancamano gets his first action of the night. Michael Black and Michael Wiley for the Cowboys.
A guy like Biancamano obviously isn't going to come in here and beat out Jason Elam. What he can do, and he punts too. He's been doing that throughout camp to spell ruin. He can't come in and try to impress another team.
Wiley from the 1. He's got great speed, but doesn't get a chance to show it there. Wiley hit at about the 25-yard line. Good tackle by Byron Chamberlain. So the Cowboy offense trots in the field. They'll take over at about the 25-yard line, down 31-6 at Mile High Stadium.
Can you hear me?
The 6 and Bill Romanowski obviously done for the night. Hey, I tell you, it was interesting before the game introducing the starting lineups. The Broncos introduced the defense, and he by far got the loudest ovation. It's been a tough week for Bill Romanowski, but clearly the fans are behind him.
1st and 10 Cowboys now at the 25. Clint Sterner replacing Troy Aikman here in the 2nd half. Return handoff for not many yards. That is Michael Black. Black hit by Steve Russ and also by Ian Gold. Of course, with Nate Wayne being traded this past week to Green Bay, it frees up one more spot in that linebacking core, one would suspect. And guys like Ian Gold and Steve Russ and Chris Gizzy. Gold's going to make it for sure, but Russ and Gizzy both battling like crazy. That has to help their chances.
And they don't cut back. The big cut comes next weekend. They get down to 65 on Tuesday, but then the 53. I'll talk about that in a second. That'll be the bigger one.
2nd and 9 now. As Sterner turns and quickly hands the fullback Troy Hambrick, who is quickly knocked to the turf by Ian Gold. They really like this 2nd-round draft choice out of Michigan. Ian Gold, at about 225 pounds. I asked Mike Shanahan about him, at least comparing him to John Mobley's rookie year, and he said, you know, he's not as big as John was, but he might be a step quicker than John was.
And Shanahan told me he is going to be a big-time player in this league. They love him.
3rd and 7, and Sterner with 3 receivers now. Got to get to the 35 for a first down. Sterner hits and throws. Pass is going to be caught. Here goes McGarity. McGarity ducks under a couple of Broncos and is going to have a first down inside the Denver 45-yard line.
And he looks like he's hurt. And he immediately started pointing to his leg.
Jason Moore, one of the Broncos there, and Wayne McGarity, 5'8", 197-pound second-year receiver out of Texas, is down on the turf. We talked about his knee problems. He twice at the University of Texas had torn ACLs, reconstructive surgery. Not once, but twice. You certainly hope that's not a knee problem here tonight.
You hate to see a guy obviously aggravate a serious injury. It hurts twice as much when it happens in the preseason. You bury the guy before the season even starts. And he worked so hard to come back and could find himself back again in rehab. Getting back to the linebackers, when Shanahan has to get down to 53, that's when the tough choice is going to come. You would assume that the Nate Wayne trade would open things up for Gizzy or Russ. But it's going to be a tough call. Another look at the injury here. That's a nice throw by Sterner as he splits the 2 defenders there. And Gizzy in on the play. But you can see when he takes that hit, he comes down on the knee.
I think he got hurt before he even got hit. Watch his right leg plant right there.
Yeah.
I would guess that's something with his right leg, and McGarity being helped off the field. We'll hopefully get an update on McGarity's condition, but Cowboys tonight without Rocket Ishmael, although he's not a serious injury. He sprained his thumb last week in the game at home against the Raiders. So McGarity got the start.
James McKnight also bruised. Although McKnight will be playing, he's coming back from tearing up his ACL in his left knee a year ago. But he will see some action. He's just not in there tonight. That's how McGarity got the start.
1st and 10 now at the Denver 44-yard line. Best field position for the Cowboys here in the second half. Sterner wide open in the middle of the field. And a nice catch indeed.
It was Ricky Brady.
Ricky Brady, who was just recently signed at the University of Oklahoma, hit by Ian Gold, but a nice catch above his head.
Yeah, it was a little high. Nice job pulling that one down. Well down on the depth chart, obviously.
Brady last week wore number 45. This week he's wearing number 80. I'm not sure if that's good news or bad news. 1st and 10 at the 26. Sterner in the pocket, dumps in the flat. And not much there for Troy Hambrick. Dumped quickly by Jimmy Spencer. Spencer, of course, didn't get the start tonight, but not because of his play. It was already predetermined that Spencer and Buckley would share starting time at that corner spot during the course of the preseason.
Yeah, I had asked Steve Atwater during the break, what do you think of these 2 corners? Because it's an interesting battle. He said, I don't know a lot about Jimmy Spencer, but I know this. Buckley can play. And so you're going to see a lot of both of them anyway. When they go to the nickel and move Crockett inside, they're all going to be out there.
Spencer acquired in the offseason from the Chargers. 2nd and 9 from the 25 with 5.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Play fake. Sterner trying to set up the screen, and the Broncos in hot pursuit. And Clint Sterner dumped out of bounds at about the 26-yard line, and Ian Gold in hot pursuit there, along with Monte Rager.
Well, great coverage by the Broncos secondary. It looked like when they took the snap that he was looking for Chris Brazel, one of the wide receivers who was doing a flag, and the Broncos were all over him.
There's Ian Gold. You're going to be hearing a lot from this young guy this year and in the ensuing years. Not very big, but really quick.
He's a hitter.
3rd and 5 from the 21 as the crowd livens up a bit. The blitz, Sterner finds a wide open receiver who drops the football. And that's Chris Brazel. Brazel, a big receiver, 6'2" and 195 pounds. Ran a slant pattern, had the ball hit him right in the chest. well in front of Darryl Pounds, but could not make the catch.
Now, getting back to the linebackers, if Mobley was not ready to go to start the season, they're really in a predicament there, because if you start the season with Gizzy and Russ on the line, you can't send Gizzy to the practice squad, which could be an option if you do it before the season starts. That's going to be that and the wide receiver. Shanahan's got some tough decisions to make.
4th and 5, not a tough decision here for the Cowboys. They'll go for it, down 31-6. Sterner will throw into the end zone, and that will be a Dallas touchdown for Chris Brazel. He just dropped the previous throw, but came back, ran a nice pattern, and a good throw by Clint Sterner.
Yeah, and Delta O'Neal not happy. Jason Moore came over late to help him out, but Delta not too happy, pounding the ground after this play. Pretty upset with himself. He was beat.
So the Cowboys, for the first time tonight, knocked the football in the end zone. And Sider with the extra point try is up, and it is good. So good drive for Dallas with 4:55 to go in the third quarter. Broncos still enjoying an 18-point lead.
They're wearing an unusual patch on their jerseys tonight. It's a fedora, just like the one that longtime head coach Tom Landry used to wear. Landry lost his battle with leukemia on February 12th, and the team has dedicated their season to the person they recognize as the most important figure in franchise history. Back upstairs to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you see that fedora, you only think of one man if you have watched the NFL at all. Delta O'Neal has a tough time picking this one up. Finally does, and just takes a knee. Landry, the Cowboys' first coach. Goes to show you the stability of the franchise. Dave Campo now the 5th coach.
Just going to say that. You know, how many franchises that have been around as long as the Dallas Cowboys could you look at and say, this guy's new this year, and he's only their 5th head coach?
40 years.
It's an amazing number.
See Dave Campo with the scoring drive also for his Cowboys. 8 plays and 75 yards. Dave Campo has lived in 12 different cities, coached for 12 different teams, has 6 children, and his first opportunity to be the head coach at the age of 53. Perseverance. Barat to throw on first down. Fires one, and this is McGriff again. Travis clubbed down from behind by Joe Bowden. Jason Kaiser also there. But McGriff and Farrat have a nice little thing going here in the second half.
Yeah, they do. And, you know, I talked about his route running, if that's how you want to term it, and he's so sharp and consistent, talking about Travis. You know, Mike Shanahan, as you know, thrives on consistency. You got to know, and this sounds like a simple thing, you got to know you're going to make the catch when they throw it to you. And McGriff has proven that he's going to pull these balls in.
Pitch, and the ball is free. The ball hit John Avery in the face mask. I don't know if he thought it was coming or it was just a bit too hard. But after the 15-yard completion from Gus Farrat to Travis McGriff, the Broncos suffer their first turnover.
Yeah, well, I think it did hit him, and you see Fields jump on it, but too bad for Avery. That's the first rep he's had all night, and he was pretty impressive in the first preseason game down in Arizona, and obviously wants to make this club.
That's a little option play the Broncos actually put in last year that you just don't see many NFL teams run.
You don't think you'll see Gus taking it down the line and keeping it?
No, I think that's a fake on a dive and a quick pitch. First down Dallas at their 33 with 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the third. Cowboys trying to get back in it. Penalty flags will stop this play. Yeah, I don't think Farrat will come lumbering down that line.
Ball start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They got a guy that could do it. I think you could put Jarius Jackson out there. He might be able to pull it off. Jackson, not sure if we're going to see him tonight. Talking to Mike the other day in the meeting and yesterday. And he wasn't sure if he would put him in, but he's made the club, and they do think down the road he's going to be a player.
McKnight to the left side.
The game clock to read 4 minutes and 4 seconds.
And Brazel to the right as you take a look at Clinton Sterner. Sterner has hung in there tonight, 6'2" and 210 pounds, a rookie out of Arkansas. Signed as a free agent by the Cowboys. First and 15 from the 38. Pressure and more flags and whistles. I think Chad Slaughter may have jumped a bit too early in the Cowboy offensive line.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And Dave Campo's not a happy guy right now.
Campo's unhappy. Hantak is just tired. Done more talking than us tonight. 13 total penalties. And yeah, you know, you don't expect it, but you understand it when they, in the second half of the preseason game, when they go to the backups. But it's a little frustrating for coaches when the first team's out there starting.
So consecutive 5-yard penalties. First and 20 now for the Cowboys from the Bronco 43-yard line. Sterner to throw, but will run. Steve Russ hauls the former Arkansas quarterback down just inside the 35-yard line. Clint Sterner may have injured his left arm a bit.
Well, it's nice decision-making, though. You know, when you're back there, and he's a rookie, you don't waste too much time. You got to make a decision very quickly, and that's one of the toughest adjustments for guys coming into the league, because this game, it moves at such a quicker pace than what you're used to when you're playing in college. So nice job there by him to just make the decision and move it upfield.
Gain of 8 on that scramble, 2nd and 12. Broncos look like they'll blitz. They do, and a quick throw from Sterner to Brazel will move the football down to about the 27-yard line. They'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. Brazel's had one drop, a couple of catches in the last series. As you take a look at the Bronco defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson, he's not been real pleased with the last couple of weeks, but they also haven't game planned a lot in this preseason.
That's what Trevor Price had said after the Green Bay game, and that's why they were kind of back on their heels. Although if you say it to Shanahan, he doesn't want to hear the excuses.
3rd and 4 from the 27. Sterner, slant, right side, and that is going to be a catch, and a fine catch indeed. That will be a Cowboy first down as Damon Hodge goes down and scoops that ball right off the turf. Chris Watson on the coverage for the Broncos.
It'll be interesting for Dallas. You know, Sterner's probably going to make the team, but obviously they hope he never has to play. But if you get by Troy Aikman, what do you think of Randall Cunningham? Do you think at this point he can still bring it?
You know, I'll tell you what, I've always been a big Randall Cunningham admirer. But what he's got left in the tank, I guess, remains to be seen. Cunningham's a guy who's played a long time. He's in his 12th year. This is actually 15th year, out of UNLV. Here's the same play the Broncos worked on. The pitch works a little bit better as Michael Black takes the pitch, upended by Jimmy Spencer. Black, who was signed as a free agent this year out of Washington State, trying to make this Cowboy club as a backup running back, 5'11", 206 pounds. Played a couple of years with Ryan Lee in Pullman, Washington, in a wide-open offense. Last 90 seconds of the third quarter, Cowboys knocking on the door once again. 2nd and 6 from the 14. Sterner in the flat. Hambrick has it. Ian Gold has Troy Hambrick.
Had a chance earlier tonight. I don't know if you caught our 9 News special, 40 years in a cloud of dust. So many memories to look back on. And we will be rerunning that. We've already had requests for that, and we'll keep you up to date on 9 News. Nice play here by Gold. Very quick. You know, you talked about he's a little smaller than some linebackers, but this guy, he's lethal, and he's quick.
So big down for Dallas, although you'd think they'd probably go for it even in 4. 3rd and 5 from the 13. Sterner, quick throw, and James McKnight hears a whistle and stops.
We were hoping for another flag.
Ball start, 18. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's Chris Brazel. It's Dave Campo. That's when you look at your receiver coach. See, you blame the receiver coach in that particular position, like the receiver coach can do anything about it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, he's griping like crazy right now.
Well, he's as upset as Campo is, who has gone from, he's not even doing the arms crossed anymore. He's past that point.
Cowboys' third illegal procedure penalty on this drive. 3rd and 10 now from the call at the 18th. Sterner flushed in big trouble. On the run. Ball out of bounds, almost intercepted by a diving Kanoe Kennedy. And great pressure that time by Lester Archambault.
Jerry Johnson in there as well. Another rookie. But great pressure. Nice job by Sterner to avoid it. Get out of the pocket.
Clint Sterner showing some athletic ability here tonight, Tony.
Yeah, he really is. And this is a nice decision-making right here as he moves out of the pocket. You say Lester was up there first. Jerry Johnson, the other rookie, chases him. Jason Moore out there.
This will be an attempt of 36 yards. And Tim Setter knocks it right through. So Dallas trying to make a game of it as we have come to the end of the 3rd quarter at Mile High Stadium. Broncos 31, Cowboys 16. Back with the 4th quarter.
Cowboys have put together a few good drives, although only one touchdown, but they capped that one off and close out the 3rd quarter with another field goal. Just a reminder, as you know, every Monday, the Broncos huddle with Mike Shanahan, Dave Logan, and myself. And this year, we moved south a little bit down to Jackson's All-American Sports Grill in the Tech Center. And we kicked that off on Monday night, 6:30 here on 9 News. The first two were held in Greeley before the Broncos broke camp. But anyway, this year we move it down to the Tech Center, Bellevue and Yosemite, the Broncos huddle with Mike Shanahan.
Nora with the high kick. O'Neal 5 yards deep in the end zone, and here comes the rookie. Oh my. O'Neal with the kicker to beat. Caught from behind as he got into Cowboy territory. A saving tackle there by Troy Hembrick. But again, 5 yards deep in the end zone, a 56-yard return. And Tony, you're starting to see some of the real ability of this kid.
I think he was kind of feeling out everything the first couple of weeks, the first couple of preseason games. Sweet move right there for the hurdle. But this is his 3rd nice return of the night. Had 2 on the kickoffs, 1 on that punt, where Trout just delivered the crushing block. But Delta O'Neal is going to be a great one returning kicks.
Caught 58 yards on that return, and the Broncos will start in Cowboy territory. Farrat in the play fake. Dumps over the middle. This is John Avery. Avery collared by 3 Cowboys. Morantes Grant the first to get there. John Avery trying to make this team a little bit different back than the 2 guys in front of him, Terrell Davis and Landis Gary. Quicker, smaller, certainly has game-breaking ability.
Yeah, and they got a little bit of everything in the backfield. They got the Terrell, and of course they have the Landis, but then you got Avery, who's very quick and has learned how to hit the holes now. And now if Mike Alexander makes it, he could play the fullback or running back. 2nd and 4. This is Avery again having a problem holding on to the football for a moment. May have got one. Michael Myers and Chris Bordano on the tackle. And thought I saw Underwood still out there. He's in there as well. And we had mentioned earlier he's going to be getting a ton of reps down the stretch here. But the Cowboys really believe that if he keeps it all together, he's going to be a player. Alonzo Spellman taking him under his wing, rooming with him. Cooper and Reed to the right side on 3rd and 4. And Robert Brooks in the game for the first time, split left. Farrat, quick throw right side. Too far for Andre Cooper. I had asked you coming into the game, Dave, as a former receiver, a year away from football, Mike Shanahan said he didn't know if Brooks could come back. What's the toughest adjustment? Well, I mean, getting yourself into game shape is the difference between obviously being in great shape, which Robert Brooks is, and getting yourself into what's necessary for a football game kind of shape. And Robert Brooks, I think the main thing is, will his body hold up? If it does, he's got the ability to play in this league, obviously. Tremendous quickness, got good hands, understands how to run routes. And I think you probably won't know that for another week or so, but Mike Shanahan said he's looked good in practice. 4th and 4, quick throw, left side, that's going to be a first down, and Andre Reed, the dependable one, with a big catch and a first down signal, hit by Hurley Tarver.
But that's what Andre Reed can do. Very precise routes. He's tough. You don't catch that many footballs without great speed unless you are a tough guy. Reed, you can see what he's done in the preseason, 5 catches.
He is tough, and he's also, you know, being a veteran, he's very smart, and he's going to get open. That's the one thing that they need. They know they need one more guy. He may not beat out McGriff for the number 3 spot, but he's probably going to be on the team because he's going to find a way to make a catch and get open.
2.5 minutes into the 4th quarter. First down. Farrat quick throw to McGriff. It's one to beat and can't do it. Travis McGriff knew the Cowboys had blitzed. You see him get up and slap the football, and he knew he had Dwayne Hawthorne to beat to get into the end zone, but lost his footing.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, he's not the first guy to do this tonight, but he also, it's the 2nd or 3rd time that he has felt that one more move, and he's going. He almost did it the last time he caught the ball.
As a receiver, you can see the blitz coming, and you know you're the guy going to get the football if a certain blitz is on its way. McGriff thought he was going to get in the end zone there. Broncos pick up 7 on the play. 2nd and 3 at the 27. Here comes Detron Smith. Not many carries for the Bronco fullback, Chris Bordano. Middle linebacker over to make the tackle. Detron doesn't get the football many times.
Well, I was wondering if he was lined up as a tailback in that offense. Did I call him Alexander earlier, Mike Anderson? I think I did. Well, Mike Anderson is now into the game. They are loaded at running back, aren't they? They get a lot of everything. I like Mike Anderson, though. I think he's had a great camp. I think he's got a shot here.
Anderson, the former Utah player we told you in the first week, 256 yards against Fresno State in his last appearance with Utah. Farrat loads it up deep down the sideline. That's Robert Brooks. And they're going to say he caught the ball out of bounds. Boy, how would that have been? Your first catch as a Denver Bronco, even in a preseason game, and it goes for a touchdown. But not to be, and the Broncos will have to settle for an attempted field goal.
Nah, but nice catch. And I loved his quote. We asked him when he signed, what do you remember about the Super Bowl against the Broncos? And he said, absolutely nothing. And we said, well, get out of here. You remember anything? And he said, no, I don't remember. When you go to the Super Bowl and you lose, you don't retain any of that information.
Ruin will spot it at the 35, an attempt for Jason Elam of 45. Makes it look easy, doesn't it? For Elam tonight, that is his 2nd field goal. First of 35, that one from 45, and the Broncos increased their lead to 18.
Sidelines, I know you guys were talking about Mike Anderson, the running back. He's the only player on the Broncos roster who didn't play high school football. Instead, Anderson played at halftime of his games in the marching band. He played drums in the Fairfield, South Carolina Central High School marching band. So he probably has good hands. Back up to you guys.
That's true.
Got rhythm, I can tell you that. You don't play drums unless you've got an ability to count. Wiley and Black. This is Black, who gets knocked to the turf at about the 18-yard line. I'll tell you, the Cowboy kickoff return team has had just a miserable night. They fumbled a couple of times and just got blasted a couple of times as well. Broncos by 8 here at Mile High Stadium. 68,143 officially tonight. A few of those folks have headed home already, but those 2 youngsters sticking it out. Why not? The Broncos up 34-16. Dallas with a 1st and 10 from the 18. Clint Sterner continues at quarterback for the Cowboys. That's James McKnight in motion as Sterner on the roll finds McKnight. McKnight, another player with great speed, coming off, as we told you earlier, the torn ACL. He was acquired from the Seahawks last offseason and then got hurt in their blue and white scrimmage. Never even had a chance to play in the regular season.
Never saw the season. Now, normally he would start in place of Rocket, but because of that injury, it was such a serious injury. It's been a slow process for him. But if he turns out to be healthy, Cowboys are not hurting at wide receiver.
Of course, Raghib Ismail with 80 catches last year for the Cowboys. 1st and 10. Handoff right side is Michael Wiley, hit by Chris Watson of the Broncos.
You made a point earlier about when you get to this point, you got to see some action, because if you're not seeing action by the third preseason game, you're probably going to be in trouble. So what does a guy like Chris Watson do now to get their attention in time? He's going to survive the first cut, I'm sure, but by the time they get down to 53, they're dropping 12 more guys by next weekend.
Yep.
How can he make the team?
You know what? All you can do is play the hard as you can, and you also have to not only play as hard as you can in the games, you got to play as hard as you can every single minute in practice. Almost everything they do in practice is filmed and evaluated that same day. Toss left side. And Wiley is taking a beating. That's Mike Lodish, who came straight down the defensive line to greet Wiley. George Coghill there as well.
Yeah, Coghill is he's the one that got us going tonight. Forced the first fumble that they recovered, punched it in. Recovered the second one on the ensuing kickoff, and he's still out there making plays. Now on defense, obviously. Good to see Lodish in there, too.
Yeah, Mike Lodish, you got to give a guy credit. I mean, fourth quarter of the third preseason game, and Mike Lodish, who was in his 11th year out of UCLA, he knows his role. He's got to continue to play hard in this. This is just like a regular season game for him right now. Sterner on third down in the pocket. Avoids the tackler. Steve Russ has him, but I think Sterner's going to have the first down.
A nice job by Russ, though. He saved about 5 yards with that tackle. Delphi had come up, but Russ saved him a little yardage.
Harold Hasselbeck with pretty good pressure there, but couldn't bring Clint Sterner down. And once again, nice athletic ability and poise for this young quarterback.
Yeah, and you know, the guys that the Broncos have out there right now, they're not garbage time guys. There's some quality guys out there on that defense, and I think Sterner has looked pretty good. I told you earlier, I think he's going to make the team ahead of Paul Justin, and I think the Cowboys are giving him every opportunity to make the team ahead of Paul Justin.
First down, Dallas at the Cowboy 43. And again, McKnight in motion. Sterner turns, hands off to Wiley, who has bounced off his own man and just stayed on the ground. Michael Wiley in his rookie season probably didn't realize that you can get back up unless you're knocked down by a defender.
Yeah, he hesitated just a little bit. I want to update you on Todd Helton. You know, this watch, nobody has hit 400 in Major League Baseball, as you may know, since 1941. A guy by the name of Ted Williams. Well, I'll tell you what, Todd Helton, no one has hit this well late in the season. In 20 years, Todd Helton's getting it done. He's now at 397. Some scores. Bengals win by 4 at home against the Bears. You see the Redskins shutting out the Browns in Cleveland. Steelers come close, but the rally falls short. Buffalo leading by 4 down the stretch.
Second and 11, Sterner back. Throws complete. That's J.J. Huggins, one of the backup tight ends, hit by George Coghill. Of course, St. Louis, the Broncos' opening game opponent on the road, a Monday night affair. That will be difficult. I think a lot of people underestimating St. Louis and what they have. Everybody talking about the Redskins, but the Rams with the most potent offense in the NFC.
Well, it's interesting. At this point, now, what, 7-8 months later, people still look at the Rams and Titans. Nobody's picking the Titans to win the Central. Well, now that Jacksonville's injured, they might, but they won.
3rd and 3 from midfield. And Sterner fumbles the
Are you kidding?
Snap and is off to the races. Sterner at the 15. O'Neal can save a touchdown. Did he get there in time? No, he didn't. Clint Sterner fumbled the exchange, picked it up, and ran, and I don't know if a Bronco got a hand on him until at the goal line with Delta O'Neal, and the Cowboys with really an incredible touchdown.
I was with you on that one. I didn't think he got in. I thought Delta shoved him out at the 1-yard line. Sometimes these
I think
bizarre...
he got in.
You think he did get in? It didn't look to me like he got the ball over the plane, but you know, sometimes these bizarre plays break down. Right. You know, sometimes these plays like a fumble-rooski kind of thing turn out to be your best plays. That's kind of night it's been for the Dallas Cowboys.
Definitely got in. Ball inside the pylon. That'd be the longest quarterback sneak we've seen in a long, long time. Tim Setter with the extra point, and Dallas trying to close the gap a bit and make this a football game. 7 minutes left in this one. 34-23, the Broncos.
Time flies at Dodge, where right now you can save big on almost everything. Right now, get the best, far and away the best cash allowance on Dodge Caravan. We're talking big, bigger than big. Or get exceptionally low, next to nothing 0.9 financing plus a generous $1,000 cash allowance. Big savings, limited time, almost everything. At Dodge, different. But hurry, while time is still on your side.
All across the state, companies are searching for the right people to give them an edge. First Data Corp is looking for people to keep them a global leader in financial services and e-commerce. At Presbyterian St. Luke's Medical Center, they're searching for the perfect people to touch the lives of others. And at Great West Life, they're looking for people dedicated to ensuring your future. So where do you think they'll find these smart, driven people? Two places: the Denver Rocky Mountain News career section and on the web at careers.rockymountainnews.com.
Attention car buyers, this Wednesday through Saturday, Rocky's Autos will match your down payment up to $1,000 on over 700 red tag cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs.
You do the math. If you have 500 down, we'll add another 500, and that'll give you 1,000. And if you have 1,000 down, we'll add 1,000.
Everybody saves because we'll match your down payment up to $1,000 on any vehicle.
The matching down sale is this Wednesday through Saturday only at Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal.
Back at Mile High Stadium as we wrap this one up, 34-23, the Broncos with the lead. Dave Logan, Tony Zarella, and Drew Soysher with you. 50-yard quarterback sneak, basically.
Just saying, who needs Emmett? We don't need Emmett. We got Sterner.
Clint Sterner.
We can get it done.
Showing pretty good speed, too, for a quarterback. Mike Anderson will get his first opportunity to return a kickoff. 5 yards deep, and here we go. To the 10, Anderson 15. Knocked off his pins at the 20. Nice tackle there by Orontis Grant. Anderson will stay in as the Bronco offense will be back on the field.
Enjoy all the comforts of home before you get there. The Acura TL.
We love to see you smile. In a hurry? Well, I won't waste your time. May I help you? At McDonald's, our drive-thru is faster than ever because we've got a system that speeds things up. So we get the order right and you get it fast. And you won't want to lose a second grabbing these great deals. Get 2 Big Mac sandwiches for just $2, or 2 Quarter Pounder with cheese sandwiches for $2, or 1 of each. We love to see you smile. And saving you time and money ought to do it.
But Randall, I can't go on living this life.
For smart products and smarter advice, there's a better way to go. For just $50 a month, get the Family Connection plan with free unlimited local calling between family members, plus 300 shared local minutes with service provided by Verizon Wireless.
Let us tell you, this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Denver Broncos, 9 News, and the National Football League is a no-no. Broncos 1st and 10 from the 21. We think they'll probably run the ball here for a while. This is Mike Anderson, who bounces off his own player, and here we go. Anderson, the 40, and the big man showing some speed, ushered out of bounds by Dwayne Hawthorne. But Mike Anderson, at 235 pounds, showing some pretty darn good speed.
You know, I love this guy. I love the fact that he can play so many different positions. He ran back the kickoff, cuts outside here with the quickness of a tailback. He can block like a fullback, and he's been pretty good on special teams, and he's one of these guys that you find a spot for. You figure out a way to keep him on the team.
So the ex-Marine getting it done here for the Broncos. 24 yards on that carry. And about 7 or 8 on that one as Anderson takes the handoff and just bends it back over the middle. Chris Atkins and Dwayne Hawthorne for the Cowboys. He's a big back. He's a power back. One of the first things when Mike Shannon, we talked, a couple of weeks ago, I said, give me your impressions of Mike Anderson. He said, he's a man.
Yeah.
He's a tough, strong, young guy.
Well, 2 rushes, 31 yards. I'm not good at math, but I know that's a good stat.
Healthy.
It's a good ratio.
Reed and Brooks. How's that for a pair of wide receivers in the game? Split to the right side. Anderson again. You can see just inside zone stuff, how Mike Anderson is so good at kind of picking that cutback lane and then squaring his shoulders.
And I don't want to stretch it here. I don't want to compare him to another guy that seems to wait a half a second and then burst through the hole and cut back better than anybody else in football, whose name rhymes with Terrell Davis. But if you're going to emulate a guy or have a quality, he might be the guy.
I think he's, and you're from Pittsburgh, I think he's a guy that may be a little bit more like a smaller version of the bus, like a Jerome Bettis, just a big, solid guy that has better feet than you think of a man that size.
Yeah, right, because Bettis is a lot quicker than people think.
Absolutely. Barat to throw. Robert Brooks has his first catch as a Bronco and pays for it. Picks up about 8. Gets up and walks back to the huddle. Hit by Edwards and Hawthorne. Brooks on a slant pattern.
And if you're Robert Brooks, you want to get the first hit. He caught that pass. He was out of bounds for the touchdown, but you want to get hit. You know, you've been out of football for a year. It's your first preseason game.
Tony.
And you want to feel good.
You never, ever.
You sound like an offensive guy.
Want to get hit, ever.
I think Steve Atwater would have a different answer for that.
Yeah, guys like that, you know what? You want to stay away from guys like that. Yeah, Atwater always wanted to hit. Brooks gets 8 on the slant pattern. Anderson picks up a first down here. But you're right, though. Brooks wants to get in the action, and you're going to have to get hit to obviously feel like you've done something. Grant and Fields on the tackle.
Well, Mike Anderson's getting hit, but not until he's 5 yards downfield. This guy is putting up a pretty decent ratio here as he comes out to take a breather. Avery goes in for him, but they got to like, I'm telling you, man, I think he's got a great shot to make this club.
He's looked good when he's had the opportunity. He's made a couple of plays on special teams. I remember a couple in Tempe, and he's looked good tonight, I think. 1st and 10 Denver with 3:38, and the clock mercifully moving. Barat to throw, pump fakes, looking for Brooks, a little bit too far. So the slant and go doesn't work. Coverage by Dwayne Hawthorne, second-year cornerback out of Northern Illinois.
Mike Shanahan cutting down to 65. May do it tomorrow. I may do it Monday, actually. Jump the gun by 1 day, but he may wait to announce it until Tuesday. The bigger cuts come when they get down to 53, which he'll likely do after the San Francisco game on Friday night. So next weekend we should know that those are the bigger cuts, and some tough choices, obviously, for Mike Shanahan.
Cooper right, Reed and Brooks left. This is Anderson right side for not much. Bryant Shaw, rookie out of Mississippi College. I'll tell you what, the Cowboys over the years have come up with more players that have really turned into be outstanding players from colleges that nobody ever heard of. You think back to Gil Brandt, the old-time Cowboy personnel director, but they got some gems in places that nobody even knew existed.
Out of the smaller schools, and they're doing it again. You get a guy like Kareem Larimore, who's out of West Texas A&M. You know, they're doing something that other teams, although Mike Shanahan's not bad in that area either.
You saw both offenses able to move the ball tonight. Barat on the handoff to Anderson. This is Joe Bowden for the Cowboys.
You know, Bowden still thinks he has a shot to start. He's competing for a starting job with Darren Hambrick. Hambrick started last year, but this year they brought in Bowden. I think he was a Titan as well.
He was.
And he was in the Super Bowl last year. So if you're Bowden, this is garbage time, and you're going to lose, but you still want to make an impact because in your mind, you still think you can start when the season starts.
Barat wants to let this clock run down to the 2-minute warning. He's not going to be able to unless he takes a timeout. Snap clock now at 4. Of course, it will start again with 6 seconds to go. As we sit here in the press box at Mile High Stadium, of course, this is the last preseason game ever to be played here. We look just across the way in the new stadium. I mean, going up faster than anybody would imagine.
Well, this thing is going to be amazing. And I know there's a lot of great memories here, 40 years at Mile High, but this is what this place will look like. It'll seat over 76,000 fans for football, even more when they do concerts and other stuff. But I mean, the concourses are going to be huge, escalators, elevators, the seats are bigger. It's 2 state-of-the-art video scoreboards, and of course the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame Museum, at which you can go look at a bust of Dave Logan, which is going to be one of the big attractions.
Take your time there, folks.
You had a great speech
next year, I'll tell you what, the new stadium, it just seems very strange to me, having grown up in this town and brought incomplete on 4th down, by the way. But it just seemed, Mile High is always, first Bear Stadium, but Mile High has always been here.
Yeah, and it's more restrooms, and this will make the women happier.
There's good news for me.
Women have more restrooms than the men in the new stadium.
By the way, that's Tony Zarella with that comment.
I'm just telling you, don't shoot the messenger, but that's a big deal. And that one for every 57 people or something, and this, it's going to be 1 for every 95 guys or something, and however that works out.
Backstroke.
And real people. It's going to be tremendous. A restaurant, little monitors.
Little monitors.
It's big.
There's a draw. Broncos season ticket holders.
That's as big as the Logan exhibit at the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame.
Yep. 1st and 10 with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go, so this will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Clint Sterner is at it again. Dumps one over the middle, wide open. And Michael Black steps out of bounds. We have come to the 2-minute warning here at Mile High Stadium. Broncos comfortably ahead, 34-23 over the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be hearing from Mike Shanahan after the game and much, much more. Stick around.
Welcome back, everybody. The Broncos, 1 minute and 56 seconds away from pulling out their 3rd win of the preseason. Cowboys will fall to 0-4. And a reminder, Sunday night, we bring it back to you, the most complete coverage of the Broncos from your home of the Broncos. Broncos tonight. Adam Schefter, of course, from the Denver Post. Blake Olson joining me Sunday nights at 10:35 here on 9 News.
1st and 10 now, Dallas at the 42-yard line. And Clint Sterner continues at quarterback. He has played the entire second half, and frankly, he's played very well. Short pass is going to be incomplete. The intended receiver got tangled up with one of the referees. J.J. Huggins was the receiver, or the intended receiver. And he ran right into the umpire, Carl Madsen. The umpire, located about 4 or 5 yards behind the defensive line. You can see not always the safest spot in the world. Well, trying to get out of the way, and oh, man.
Yeah, it's a nice pick, actually. The officials have had a rough night, or a long night. Maybe not a rough night, but a long night.
2nd and 10 at the 42. Brazel in motion as Sterner drops back. Pressure. Throws on the run, and pass is going to be completed for a short gain. Brazel hauls it in, and Jason Moore right on top of the Cowboy receiver. And the clock runs with 1 minute and 36 and counting. Lester Archambault, pretty good pressure. 2nd and 10, make it 3rd down, 3rd and about 8. As Sterner goes with the no huddle. Pass left side is caught. Again, that's Brazel. And again, that's Jason Moore for the Broncos. Jason Moore in his 2nd season out of San Diego State. Free agent acquisition back in '99. Spent some time with the Broncos trying to make this team obviously as a backup safety and also a guy in special teams. Tony Zarella on his way down to the locker room. You'll be hearing from Tony as he interviews a number of the Bronco players. In the meantime, on 4th down, Sterner hit as he throws. Pass intended for J.J. Huggins. And Sterner was hit by Monte Rager. The Sterner, who's been able to move around in the pocket, could not get away from this shot. Rager with a helmet right in the midsection as the former Arkansas quarterback steps into the throw, and the Bronco offense can run the clock out. Monte Rager's a guy that Bronco fans will be seeing a lot of this year. I think you'll see a 3-man rotation at least with the inside techs on that Bronco defensive line. Trevor Price and Keith Traylor and Monte Rager. So Gus Frerotte will take a knee. a couple of times, and the Broncos will have their third consecutive victory to start this 2000 preseason. They open at Sun Devil Stadium. You saw that game right here in Channel 9. They beat the Cardinals 31-17. As the Cowboys take a timeout. Then last week at home against the Green Bay Packers, Broncos with a 26-20 win. We invite you to join us Friday night from 3Com Park, as Tony and I will have the action, the Broncos and the San Francisco 49ers. That will wrap up the preseason. And it gives Denver at least a long weekend to get ready for that first week of the regular season action. Actually, some 11 days prior to the game with the St. Louis Rams. Take a look at what both quarterbacks did tonight. Brian Griese, I thought, very, very sharp. 12 of 18, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Threw one to Smith, one to Chamberlain. Gus Frerotte has thrown the ball well as well. 8 for 14 as he takes a knee and the clock runs. Cowboys inexplicably calling a timeout with 60 seconds to go in the game and down by 11. Griese came into camp this year having to fend off the challenge of Gus Frerotte, and I would say right now he has done so without question. And unless Brian Griese suffers some sort of injury in the final preseason game, we don't expect that he'll play that much. He is going to be the starter as the Broncos and the St. Louis Rams do battle in the first game and in St. Louis on Monday night. Rod Smith back, signing a few autographs for these fans. Third and 14 now from midfield. Freratte's going to go ahead and throw. Fires a slant to Robert Brooks, who makes a tough catch. Picks up 7 or 8 in the process. And that will bring up 4th down. Cowboys, I think, are going to use their last timeout. Well, 9 News. Both teams, I'm certain, will be geared up for that one. 4th and 7, so Tom Ruin, who thought his night was over, will kick at least one more time. This ball hits at the 3 and takes a Denver roll and is going to be down at about the 5-yard line. Nice way to end the night for Ruin. We talked about Amy Van Dyke and Tom Ruin's fiance, who will be in Sydney in the 2000 Olympics. Dave Campo ready to call this one tonight. Tell you what, Sydney is a great city and a fine choice, and I think those people over there for the next month and a half are really going to enjoy themselves. Clint Sterner, is he going to throw here down 11? Probably so. Sterner in the end zone, pressured, grabbed, sacked, and that will be 2 points for the Denver Broncos. And Harold Hasselbeck, who caused a fumble last week at the goal line of Matt Hasselbeck, the Packer quarterback, gets a sack tonight. And the Broncos increase their lead to 36-23. Hasselbeck will come from, Hasselbeck from the left side. Sterner lost his footing and then just didn't get rid of the football. And Hasselbeck right around the block of Chad Slaughter. So just when you thought it was over, the Cowboys will have to kick it away. And again, Tony Zarella down in the locker room. We'll hear from Mike Shanahan momentarily after the final gun. Get some of the thoughts of the Bronco coach on this third preseason victory. Broncos will have to make some roster decisions shortly. I think right now Mike Shanahan and his staff could tell you who will be the 53 men that will make the final roster. I don't think they have to wait. Karan Coleman looking for his opportunity. He and Andre Cooper await the free kick. It's a short kick, and Cooper makes a catch, goes down on both knees. Can't decide whether he wants to get up and run or just go down. Good choice, Andre. Andre Cooper trying to hang on and make this team. He did so last year with a terrific preseason. Cooper was one of the stars of the Broncos preseason. Never really got the opportunity, never materialized in the regular season. Former Florida State wide receiver. Probably taking some good-natured ribbing right now in the huddle about not getting up and running. So this will be, we hope, the last snap of this football game. No flags. Gus Farrat and the Broncos walk over to shake hands. Mike Shanahan on a trot to greet Dave Campo, the Cowboy head coach. And the Broncos have a 36-23 win against the Dallas Cowboys. For Dave Campo, his club now 0-4. The new head coach of the Cowboys trying to get his club ready for the regular season. Again, we'll remind you, Tony Zarella in the locker room with a number of interviews. We'll talk with Mike Shanahan in just a minute. As you see some of the Cowboy and Bronco players talking to each other after the game. There's three Air Force guys right there: Steve Russ, Chris Gizzi, and Chad Hennings. And I think we have Mike Shanahan with the headset on. Hey, Mike, Dave Logan, congratulations. Give me some of your just observations now on that game as things you looked at and things maybe you liked and didn't like.
Well, I thought we came back in the first half. We got a couple turnovers early, and we got 10 points out of it. And they started to move the football, and we stopped them inside the 20-yard line. They had to settle for field goals, and that's what you want, your defense to kind of fight and settle down, and all of a sudden come back and make some plays like they did. And that's very indicative of what happens during the season. You might start out poorly, but you still got to fight your way back and make plays, and I think that's what we did.
I think that's a good point, and let me ask you this, because they do have two long drives in the first half, 14 plays and 73 yards for one, and 13 plays and 64 for the other, but you can draw something positive out of it because your club did hold them to field goals.
Well, that's what happens. You know, it doesn't matter how far you drive the ball down the field. You got to get into the end zone and get touchdowns. When you do hold them to field goals, that means your defense is playing as a unit. But you got to fight back and come back, and that's what I was most pleased after we had some adversity. After those two long drives, we kind of got together. They were throwing a couple tight ends at us. We settled down a little bit. We made some plays when we had to make them.
Mike, final thought. It looked like your offense, when they had the opportunity, two short fields after the kickoff fumbles, but when they were on the field in the first half, I thought your offense moved the ball consistently.
Yeah, we got some touchdowns. We were moving the football, and that's what we've been working on for the last few weeks, trying to make some big plays and get the ball in the end zone, get some touchdowns, and not settle for field goals. And that's what you got to do to have a great offense in this league, and we managed to make a couple big plays there late in the second quarter, and, that's what you want to do.
Mike, appreciate the time. See you Monday night in the huddle.
Okay, Dave.
Mike Shanahan. We thank him for his time as he talks about his club's 36-23 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. We will come back and wrap things up from Mile High Stadium.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to San